Alright. Shout to you, my man.
Wanna know about my day? Do you know the song Grandma was ran over by a reindeer? Turns out that the grandma doesn't actually die, at least not in the movie inspired by the song. Well, life is not like the movies. Nim said my grandma died today
Are you being
after
serious?
she had a stroke on New Year's Eve.
What the hell? Okay. Jeez, I hope you feel better soon, and I'm sorry I asked. My god. You guys are so dreary tonight, holy shit. She's in a better place now. And, I hope you guys take your time to mourn properly and remember her correctly. And, that's how life goes. God damn. What I get for asking. Tell us about those dreams. Jeez. They were so stupid. I think it's best we don't ask, man. When you ask about someone's day and they come up with stuff like this, you're just like, what the hell am I supposed to even say to that? Alright. Oh boy. I don't know anymore. I had a really weird dream. It's all over the place. When you think about a dream, chances are it's an amalgamation of many different dreams. You don't just get one dream, you get multiple dreams all at once, but your memory doesn't separate it. You just put it all together. Hello, I'm the weirdo Azelle fan that actually got him to +10. Congratulations. Still weird, yes. Welcome back, nice to see you. I had a dream where I was with like fellow VTubers or content creators for Nikkei, and for whatever reason we're talking about the new character polls and whatnot, and then the very next moment I'm in school and I'm changing, and for whatever reason I'm like not clothed. That's a thing. Like, that's supposed to say something to you, but I don't remember what it was supposed to say. And I don't remember why. And while I was changing in the bathroom, and there was a terrorist attack. And I was like, or something, because we were in lockdown. So I'm like, unclothed, and I need to change, and there are a bunch of people freaking out. I was like, what the hell is this? At a certain point, your dream gets so ridiculous, you get shocked back into reality. You're like, this is not, none of this makes any sense. And I was just like, what does this even mean? Because I was trying to figure out what this dream meant, and I have no friggin' clue. And I think people were coming in, like, into the washroom and searching people, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not even clothed yet. Like, it was just like, this makes no sense. I don't even know why I had such a weird ass dream. I don't even, why? Do dreams have meaning? I hope they do. None of it made sense. Hey, Silver Dude. You should get a dream journal and write your dreams down. I do. I actually do. I only write down dreams that have any value to it. This dream has no value to it, so I will not write it down. I remember waking up feeling so tired and stressed because obviously in the middle of like a lockdown, you'd be stressed, right? And also being naked. would be stressful. But I don't even understand. Why was this my dream? What the hell? What the heck is it about? Takes shape depending on the individual's imagination. So what was I imagining? What the heck was going on? I don't understand anything anymore. Anyways, that was my dream. Do you guys remember your dreams? I hope it was something sensible and not crazy. I had a lewd dream? No. Oh god, yeah, I also remember peeing in my dream. And being like, man, why can't I pee? And I think that was a good thing, because I think if I peed in my dream, I would have peed real life. Okay. It was a weird ass dream, dudes. I don't even know. None of it made sense to me. I remember like thinking about it. It's just like, man, what the heck? Why is this all going on at the same time? I had a dream where I was dreaming a dream. Okay, that's just called Inception, and that's not your dream. I don't even remember the last time I peed in my bed. I think at a certain age, you just can't. You just can't do it. You just can't. You're all peed out, man. You're all peed out. Anyways, that was my dream. I don't understand any of it. If anyone does, please let me know. Your badge changed color? Oh yeah, I really need to update the YouTube badges. Man, I've been so swamped of everything that I haven't really upgraded and updated things as much as I wanted to. Die. Hey Yogurt, how you doing? Did I miss Sang telling us about dreams he was having where he does spanky spank with Nikki ladies? No, I've never even thought of them that way. Though I probably should.
Why not? Yeah. Speak. Time to kill? Yes.
This guy's traps are so dumb. Why would you put them right here? What the heck's the point?
I have no doubt. Yeah. Close your eyes. Okay.
Okay, I'm just setting up.
A goddess abides. What can I do? Yeah.
I think I know what I'm doing.
I'll do it. I will go.
2,326,392,732 wanted to show off a fav. I like hearing her honest thoughts, so I won't say nothing. Also hope her having a good day, Nimlik.
Where was that?
Thank you, Mario Maniac. Appreciate that. I hope things have been good for you. I mean, we played Smash yesterday, so At least it wasn't bad, I hope.
Do all I can.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Man, this team is so weird. A Rupture Sky.
Yeah.
Die.
Where was that?
All right, we got it.
I have no doubt. What can I do? Okay.
I should have broken that.
Speak. Yes. Close your eyes. Abides. Why not? Time to kill? I'll do it. I have no doubt.
All right, we're done. Okay, let's see. I just loved everything about it, so I'm playing with my main team. Gosh, you Pokemon fans. I'm hanging in there. Yeah, how's work been? On a note of dreams, I had a lot of lewd dreams lately, and I don't know what that means. That means you're horny, my guy. All right, one more. This guy has no tower. But I don't know if it even matters because these Christmas heroes are bullshit. Well, let's find out though. I'm interested in seeing if we can beat them. He has double savior. Wait a second. Is this... Oh, far save. Wait. That is double far save. The shit? It literally doesn't work because it's double far saved.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Speak. Yeah. Close your eyes. Okay.
I'll do it.
What can I do? I have no doubt. Where was that?
I don't know. Okay. Oh, I think I should...
Time to kill?
I'm pretty sure we can just win that fight straight up. Alright, I think I know what I'm doing.
Abides. Why not? I will go.
Die.
I'll do all I can.
Here we go. Alright, well, that's awkward.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did not plan that.
I have no doubt. Close your eyes. Okay.
That's so funny. This guy's team just makes no sense whatsoever. But nobody's trying, so who cares?
I'll do it.
No, how can she survive Kranya? It's a special spiral Kranya. She has no damage reduction.
I wanna ask this in advance before we start the hero reviews. There's a fan art piece I'd like to share, which is not on Faye Reddit, so it's not the one I DM'd. I posted this piece
How
on the
many
basement
did you
link.
post?
Check it out, please. Nim Sai, I'll give one sub if we do Nim
I
cheer.
have no doubt.
How many are you asking me to check? Why are there so many?
I'll do it.
A goddess abides.
You already know why I have so much reservations of doing stuff for you. Because it's often just not worth the trouble.
Speak. Close your eyes. A goddess abides.
Alright,
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I have no doubt.
gosh. She just straight up wins. That's
A
crazy.
goddess abides. I will go. What can I do? Why not?
That's crazy, man.
I have no doubt.
Alright, whatever. I kind of want to do something else to end it off, but don't matter. We're done.
Today, it's just one, the one in the basement, which is also on the last dono. The other one is for another day. The subject of the illustration is not the problematic character, so it might be okay Nimsai.
I've gone 3 for 5, chat. Alright, cool. Let's start hero views. You're still hesitant on your hero as well? Should I put my +10 Azelle for build review or dual Ephraim? I don't know, whichever one you think is a better one to show off. I don't know, so I can't base it off of anything.
Unavoidable.
Understood.
Or should just be accepting these guys, but I don't know for sure who they are and whatnot. All right, I'm about to start. If you guys have any more heroes to submit, please do. Okay. I don't understand. You clearly showed me. Today it's just one, the one in basement, which is also a last dono. The other one is for another day. The subject of the illustration is not the problem. Characters might be okay. So it's one. Then why'd you DM me the other picture? They're both showing up. I need to fix that. Okay, well, this is whatever he had to show me. I drew Sez and Eclat from Fire Emblem Heroes at Skeb's request. Thank you for your request. Did you commission this? I'm pretty sure these two have never kissed, and I highly doubt the summoner would be this passionate, so... I don't know, man. I just think this one's weird. They both seem way too awkward, and she's supposed to be like maintaining her distance as a goddess or some nonsense. Okay, well, there's that then. The summoner? Yeah, I know, man. It's kind of... I don't think the summoner's like that. I definitely don't think he's like that. Alright, chat. We're gonna start the hero views. If anyone has submitted it, let me know. I'm gonna go over it right now. It looks like it's Morrow Maniac, Sugma.
Seda inflicted time's grip on the summer nerd. Seda summer and the New Year's kiss that never ends. Nim Sai Seda put aside her tsundere personality. Nim cheer.
Alright, if you say so. Alright, well, let's begin. Looking like a short hero review session. Maybe I should have... No, go summoning tomorrow in Nikkei makes more sense. Cherish me so, thank you so much. Sam, I'm always proud of you. Faye has been around for a while, but you're always been my guy. You're the best type of homie, and we're glad I've known you. Thank you for being awesome. Always keep your head up. You make it sound like I just died, but thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Even if people think that or feel that way, very few people would say it, so it really does mean a lot. That's not what I meant, yeah. Alright. Let's do it. Alright, Sugma kept his word. It went to God's I-74. I think that's it. Let's do it. Wow, those are some dark words. Alright, hopefully tonight we take it easy on things. That's my guesstimation. Or hope. Summarization, hope. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's 4 days. So you're doing off stream for things? No. I only do things on stream. When I'm off stream, I just face myself towards the corner and I just sit there and wait till my next stream.
Do not undoubtedly. Oblivion awaits.
That's what I do when I'm off stream. Why would you word it like that? So you doing off stream for things? The answer is obviously yes.
I will allow this.
Oh boy. I see. Okay, this is okay, sure. I'm sure you see. Yeah, I just stand in a corner, man.
Future, then. Despicable.
You know, sometimes if you stare long enough in the corner of a room, you start seeing things, you know? Sometimes you question yourself, like, is that blotch of paint has always been there? It looks slightly thicker than I thought.
28753912334. Hey Nims, how are things?
Honored
Been a
Metal,
while
thank you
again.
so
Took
much.
Some advice for this build from the Discord works good.
Alright, looking forward to checking it out. Thank you so much. Nice to see you, Honored Metal. How you doing?
I see.
I don't do hero reviews nearly as often as before.
Naturally. State your wishes.
But then again, I don't even play Fae as often as before.
Oblivion awaits.
I feel like if I played Fae as often as I did before, I'd just go crazy.
Despicable.
The game has changed so much with the power creep and whatnot. I don't think it's... it becomes unbearable if I have to keep thinking about it. You hang on the walls by your feet like a vampire. Okay. Vampires don't really do that. I know they showed it in like Dracula or something. They don't actually do that. Do we also send the builds on Discord? No. No, if I did it like that, no one would show up. And I would have like a giant back order of stuff. That's a bad idea. Though I could have done more for the stream. I think we could have done our hero.
Naturally. Do not state your wishes.
I think we could have done our hero
I will allow this.
Undoubtedly.
I think we could have done our hero building that we promised. A plus 10 hero per you guys' designs is what was supposed to be done sometime soon. All right, chat, let's do it. Also, I need to remove people from my list. Venotox 2 days ago. Jeez, Sadge. Riken 1 week ago. So many people quit. All right, let's remove people from my list. The Sadge. It's Sadge when people quit, but it's also the fate of all players to one day quit. Goodbye, Ragnar. And your hot leg yarn for some reason using out shields. Okay, that makes no sense. Chat builds a hero. Yeah, I'll let you guys pick a hero to build. 07s. Get your 07s out, chat. Oh shoot, look at this plus 10. Beautiful plus 10 Fjorm. 07s. 07s, chat. Imagine you plus 10 a Fjorm in summer and you quit like 4 months later. Are you kidding me? 07s, chat. 07s. That Fjorm has served. Fallen Edelgard Enjoyer. That's Vic. He definitely quit, but I'll keep him on the list just to remind him. Jello quit with his stupid plus 10 Legat with Hardy Bearing. Dude, you can't afford Hardy Bearing. This is old ass hero. 07s, chat. 07s for the plus 10 Legat. Free to play, but Hurricane Dagger's pretty good. Man, it's Lethality Flash Sparrow and Special Sparrow 4. Or join Try Speed, bruh. Why would you cheap out there? 07s. Pokezone with a plus 10, 20 flowered Edelgard who's using Quick Impulse for some reason. Definitely 07. Rest in peace. Also went for plus res just to get the balance, defense, and res. 07s, chat. 07s. Rest in peace, Pokezone. Sephic? Oh, plus 10 Leon with Finish, Spiral 4, and Time Spells 4 with Arcane Clips and Flare. 07s, chat. 07s. That's a badass Leon. But he dead now. Plus 10 Marianne level at 1. He hates Marianne, that's why. Alright, chat. I don't know who this is. B love? Well, he's not loving anymore because he's dead. 07's chat with the plus 10 sheds with finish 4 and all fault 04 and spiral 4. 07's all day. Finalist. Dead game? I think dead game is pretty evident with what the intentions of dead game are. 07's chat, it's not a plus 10 buy lift, but still it's a plus 5 buy lift. That's pretty good. 07's for dead game. All right. 21 minutes ago. 07's chat. 07's for Har. 07 for Har chat. Who's last here 21 minutes ago. Oh, Jay Vasquez, thank you so much.
297691445 New Year. New Camilla builds. D.
07's chat. 07's 21 minutes ago. That's too long. Rest in peace, plus 10 Har. You deserve better. 07's chat. 07's. Neko quit. Did Neko quit? I don't know. Neko still shows up on Nikkei streams. 07's chat. 07's for Yarn. Plus 6 Yarn. It's not even a crazy good build. It's just catch 4. 07's chat. 07's. Neko still shows up on Nikkei. Rinku 4 weeks ago. All right. 07's chat. It's what is this nonsense? A speed Ephraim? Definitely 07. This Ephraim was 07 before he even quit. All right. This was already dead. This was dead ahead of time. It's just 07ing after the fact. It's a double salute. Fire quit Faye. 07's chat. 07's. To one of the biggest whales I've ever known in Fire Emblem Heroes. He can show off anything. Man has 240 crowns and he still quit. 07's chat. 07's. Goodbye, Fire. I'm pretty sure Keaton quit, but I don't know. I'll keep her on. All right. 07's chat. 07's. For Marianne, 40 plus 10, 15 flowers. Requiem Dance, Attack Speed Unity, Magical Mouth Up, Times Pulse 3, Blade Session 3. Still good, but 07's chat. 07's. The plus 10 Marianne. Bam 1 week ago. That's fine. Len. It's been 4+ weeks since Len played. 07's chat. 07's my favorite bot. Dude, I love Len. He's been here forever. But 4 weeks plus? That's too much. 07's chat. 07's. For the plus, just on plus 2 self. What the heck? Okay, maybe that last one didn't deserve any 07's. And on to the final page we go. I don't know how many people we removed. We probably can figure it out. It's probably like a dozen. All right, I'm good with it. I think that's it. All right. I'm gonna do a quick rescan. That was a lot of 07's chat. How many friends did we start off with tonight? He hasn't played 4 weeks plus. I think in 4 weeks plus is definitely you've quit. I can understand taking a month break, but over a month? Ugh. And you guys might be like, that's not a lot of difference. Well, I don't think you should take a break that long anyways. But I can understand it. All right, chat. 07's. 07's for the fallen ones. 07's for the former Fire Emblem Heroes players. They're gone now. Into the oblivion they go. I'm at 150 friends. I think that was 13 people removed. I think I was at 163. I can check actually because we just did Rob the Mains a few days ago. Yep, that was 13. See, this was just sorry, Ponce Loki a few days ago. Minus 13. We removed 13 07's into the year, into this to start this year off. But that's okay. We'll make 50 new friends and it'll be fine. But 07's chat. 07's for the fallen ones. Sometimes you take a break and the drive goes with it, Sadge. Yeah. Sometimes you tell yourself it's a break and then you just quit. I know that because I've done that in other games. That's all 07s, it is. All right, chat, we're good to go with the hero views. Let's begin.
Up and at 'em, partner.
Hello, Papi Chulo. Happy
Supersize
New Year.
me, thank
Here
you.
To show off L. Corrin. FC 3,628,966,454.
Thank you so much. As for the question of which song is this, here you go. You're not sure? What? Minerva's Refine is insanely good. Dude, Minerva is better at gale forcing. She can work something and go. Something? She's like the best gale forcer for a free-to-play player. She buffs breath. Buffs breath. That means if you have young Minerva in your team, everyone gets breath. There's nothing like that. It's not. She can do gale forcing. She is core to gale forcing. You've heard her like 4 times in past streams. Wow, calling me out for not adding new songs to my playlist for a while, huh? I see how it is. You're picking a fight with me. Chat, let's gang up on Mario Maniac and beat him up. Show him to back alleys. Yeah. Minerva is absurdly good now. So I don't think I'm even considering making a +10 Minerva just to run her in a Gale Force team. But then again, I have Ado Guard, so it's not that bad. All right. All right, chat, let's do it. Hero views, let's begin. Arsetto is Smash Brothers. Well, we already played yesterday and I beat him. But I'm pretty sure if he played Mario, I'd beat him. But yeah, we could. Alright, chat. Remember I said how many 07s we had tonight? If Sugma 07 chat, would you guys miss him? Let me know. Alright. Child of Dusk Corrin, 40 plus 10, 20 flowers, 52 HP, 66 attack, 51 speed, 42 defense, and 37 res. Primordial Breath, reposition, negating Fang 2, attack speed, finish 4, magical null up, incite, attack speed, and distant counter D. The D stands for PPs. That's what it stands for because it's Sugma's Corrin. There you go. Alright, finish 4, Fang, I agree, that's the best thing. Magical Null follow-up on her is not necessary, but it is very good because she does not have damage reduction. Nor does she have null follow-up, so to give her both of those things are really good. As well as speed res -4, which helps out with her damage output. Incite attack speed is good as well, because if you're attacking with her, but I don't quite agree with this one. At start turn, if number of allies adjacent to unit is less or equal to 2, grants attack speed +6 and incite to unit for 1 turn. If number of allies adjacent to unit is less than or equal to 1, grants attack speed +3 to unit during combat. And then depending on move position, you get another maximum of 3. I don't really see why you're using incite attack speed on her. This makes almost no sense to me. She's a dual phase hero, and this doesn't lend itself to being dual phased. It's not like you have a lot of choices, and it's not like you would go like Times Pulse or something, but most people would argue you should just go Oath for the maneuverability and, of course, the overwhelming amount of attack and speed. I just don't understand the point of this. With that said, though, it's a really good Corrin because it's maxed out. 40 plus 10, 20 flowers, plus attack, plus speed, that's maxed. And so, yeah, with the new Corrin Refine, all you have to do is just engage, and you win. She gets 9 extra stats, gets to spam negating Fang, gets to spam healing. Magical Null Help makes it even more clear-cut good. As for attack and speed, let's try and calc it, because there's a lot of numbers now. 9, 16, 20, 20 up to 20, 29, 31, up to 31 extra attack and speed, I believe. So that takes you to 97 and 82. In effect, on initiation, it will drop by 2 if you are defending, but you have to initiate combat for incited. Anyways, I don't like incite on her. I don't understand the point of that, but it doesn't really matter. Negating Fang is really good at this point. 40% flat reduction, basically guaranteed all the time, and of course,
Oath gives you 3 passive SPD if you are close to allies, which is not good when fighting Sarnarkil. With Insight, I get those 3 points of SPD while being far from allies, so I'm now safe against Sarnarkil.
okay, you're way too worried about one situation, and only one situation. That doesn't even make sense. Why does it not make sense, chat? Oath allows you to move easier and get in position easier. If you're only worried about Sonic, great. She's gonna run past you and kill someone else anyways. Granted, I'm not even sure if Corrin can just straight up take Sonic. It does help that she just has that 40% damage reduction, but like, they change it, by the way. If foe has the twice effect, grant special equivalent charge -2 to unit after first special trigger per combat. So you're negating Fang both shots, but I'm not even sure if that even happens. I've never seen it myself. And granted, Insight, if you're just using it for stats, you're incorrectly using Insight, because it's a self buff of attack speed +6. You could just use someone else to rally, and if you're not using the Incited part, you're just getting attack speed +3. So you're just doing it for 3 attack, 3 speed. That's not a good usage of your C slot. That's just so subpar. Again, Oath allows to get in position easier, quicker, and there's value in that. But alright, if you believe in Sight, but not engaging with Sight just for Sonic, it really doesn't make sense, but alright. Jay Hearts, thanks so much for follow, welcome. My +2 Sonic can easily kill +10 legendary Corrins with a remix. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't even buy the Incited. The Incited thing makes so little sense, but I don't even buy her surviving anyways. Why would more attack and more speed even matter in a Sonic fight? Can anyone explain that to me? Why would more attack and more speed matter? That doesn't make any sense. You outspeed her anyways, and if you hit her twice, she's dead. So why does Incite factor in at all? Right? The attack and speed is useless. And while the incited part is useful, but it's only useful on engagements, not on defensive battles. That's why this doesn't even make sense to me. Hello. Welcome, welcome.
Sarnarkil is a pipsqueak with the anti-penalty buff from Peony or Jerick.
Oh,
the
wow.
speed from Insight is against faster units who are teammates to Sarnarkil.
Okay, well, if you want to justify that way, sure. It almost makes no sense. Remember, I asked you, why'd you run Insight, and you said it's for Sonic, and then now you're changing it to her teammates. If this is how you're gonna argue things, you just moved the goalpost from Sonic to your teammates. In other words, what you first said has no meaning. This is for her teammates. Then you should have just said for her teammates, because the extra attack and speed does nothing against Sonic. You even just said she's a pipsqueak. And yeah, if you run the anti-penalty buff from Peony or something, yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can deal with Sonic, right? If you have the right team. But if you look at it that way, every build is like masterful. That's not Corrin doing it by herself. That's you getting support to do it. Ryan, welcome back.
3,677,881,888. The Pepe Galord is back at it again. Crub, balls.
Why'd you say balls?
Yeah, dude. I want the speed from my C slot, but I don't want to be near allies, because Sanar kill. Sanar kill can be ran with fast units, which is what Insight is for. But the anti-penalty buff goes out the window if I am at oath distance from my allies, cause then Sanar kill gets their penalties to hit Corrin.
I thought you said Golem. I thought you said Minerva was bad. Why are you showing off then? Or you were like just good enough for Gale Force or something. And clearly you didn't say it as she was good. All right, Sugma, then you're very bad at explaining. And even then, if that's the idea here, the only reason you can kill Soniki with your Corrin is because you have support. It's not because of Corrin doing it by herself. If that's the case, then Sight does nothing in those situations anyways. You want the attack and speed against other heroes, sure, but it doesn't do anything against Soniki. Like, it's so convoluted how you explained this, it just makes no sense. You explained it as for Soniki versus Soniki reasons. Okay. You can just run other skills as well, but alright, sure. Alright, so, you little pee-pee head. You wanna know something? I was forced to use her Zelgius. This is Mario Maniac Zelgius, chat. I was forced to use his Zelgius during Ponzaloki. And so, it was pretty ugly. Look. Arcane Devour, we can all agree is really good, but is it still really good on such an old hero? I love Zelgius, dude. I do. Robert Clotworthy is one of my favorite voice actors in English. Jim Raynor, he voices in StarCraft, and of course Zelgius in Black Knight. I love the guy's voice. It's so smooth and crisp. But yeah, 4 plus 7, 25 flowers, 60 HP, 64 attack, 48 speed, 47 defense, 30 res. I used him because he has 60 HP. That's a lot of points. And plus attack plus speed for 64, 48 is very nice. Arcane Devour, Aegis, attack speed unity, Savvy Fighter, DR far save, and distant counter M. I really don't like this. Listen, I know Arcane Devour is way better than his Alondite. Damn it, man. Why'd you put all this junk on him? It's way better than Alondite, but like, it just feels so bad that you had to use a DC seal on someone who comes with a DC weapon, you know? Anyways, Unity, Savvy Fighter, save. The idea is like, get hit, use Aegis, but like, you gotta damage reduce immediately. The idea, I guess, is therefore to use your Savvy Fighter. The Savvy Fighter is goofy, because you have to beat a speed criteria, and I'm not sure he beats it. I don't know, man. This is, how fast are you even? 5, 10, 14. So you got 62 speed, dude. Dude, I used this. It was so bad against in Ponzaloki. I used your Zelgius. It was rough. But yeah, chat. Again, Devour's 5, Unity's 5, Sapphires 4 for 14 extra speed. It's just 62, dude. I was gonna show Hardy, but I didn't want to show a Hardy Aegis. Oh, Hardy Aegis would make more sense. You don't have the speed to pull this off. Either way, this is rough, because you gave up all the things that he's so cool for. He's cool because he has DC in his weapon, and you removed it. And he's cool because of Black Luna, and you removed it. So you just made him like a generic armor hero. I get the love for Zelgius, I really do. But you could have made like Calum or something, right? Like Halloween Calum. That's his name, right? Nobody uses him, and he's invisible, so. But yeah, like technically speaking, that would have been made more sense. I wish 62 speed was enough in the current meta. I really do. There's really nothing you can do. I feel so bad saying this because I want to love the old heroes, but in Fire Emblem Heroes in 2024, if you're old hero, there's no point anymore. You can't even say I like using my favorites because your favorites get demolished. Like, for example, against all the new winter heroes or the new New Year heroes, right? What's Zelgius supposed to do? My guy just dies. You know what I mean? It's so rough, man. Yeah, you think I should switch off of Speed IV? 48 speed does hurt me. I don't think he works with speed. But if you're gonna go Arcane Devour, you do need speed. So I don't know where to go with this. You need the speed, but you need the speed, but he doesn't have enough speed, and there's no way to give him more speed, so I don't know how this works. I would say don't even bother with this encounter, is what I would say. I would say just go attack speed form, go close save. I think if you go close save, you can add another up to 7 extra speed, and at 69, I think things start working out in your favor. But yeah, I don't think he has enough speed to pull off the Savvy Fighter, and I don't think he has enough speed to pull off this encounter. In the current meta, it's just disastrous. They should double or triple old hero Dragonflowers and make them cost less. Yeah. At this point, like, if it just feels like the game is so fundamentally flawed, they could fix some things if they really redo the ideas. All right, chat. So here is the plan for those who just dropped on in. We're gonna watch the Fire Emblem video of war crimes soon. To be clear, I'm gonna do all the donated hero views. We're gonna watch the video, come back, and finish all the other submitted hero views. All right, that's the plan. And you're gonna want to watch the war crime video because before we even start this, who do you think has the most war crimes in the Fire Emblem universe? Who do you think has the most war crimes? Let me know. We'll make a list, and by the end of it, whichever one wins. I mean, you could cheat, but I would hope you guys don't cheat. That's kind of silly. We're gonna have a prediction. Let you guys vote, and then yeah, at the end of this, let's find out who has the most war crimes in the Fire Emblem universe. It's a video I've been wanting to watch for a while now, and we finally have some time to finally watch it. Marth has the most war crimes? Are you sure about that? They call him the Hero King, but he also goes by another name. He is also the War Crime King. Oh god. It's not Marth, man. Why would you think it's Marth? For my friends and my war crimes. For my friends. Probably Julius. No, wait, Chrom. Chrom seems more like someone who's like okay with war crimes. He doesn't show his emotions.
Just a heads up. We got a new calendar yesterday. You can skip the coverage if you want. There is just one thing worth noting, which is that the anniversary celebrations will start the same day as the mythic/legendary banner on the 30th. That banner has a lot of open slots, and it goes live as the Annie Celebrations.
Alright. Do you mean MCs or villains? Anybody. I actually don't even, I never watched this video. But I'm pretty sure it goes through like the biggest war crimes. So. Also remember, not all war crimes are the same thing. Right? Right? We're on agreement in that, right? For example, if I deploy child soldiers, that's not the same thing as genocide. Just saying, not all war crimes are equal. Some are worse. Executing prisoners? Not the same thing as stealing uniforms and faking your allegiances. Right? Not the same thing. So, let me know who you think committed the biggest war crimes. We all know Aether has the most war crimes. Oh, come on. Alright, let's keep going. Honor Medal, Child of Dust Corrin, 40 plus 10, 20 flowers, 52 HP, 66 attack, 51 speed, 42 defense, 37 res, Primordial Breath, reposition, negating Fang 2, attack speed finish, counter roar, speed res menace, and distant counter. Oh, dude, don't use menace. This is so bad at this point. Moon in the Night, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Chat, you wanna know why menaces suck at this point? You need your C slots to be engaged prior to battle. Menace activates after battle. Right? Unless you bait them in, but it doesn't work that way. Because if they're ranged, which is what you want, right? Because you're going distant counter. If they're ranged, you're not baiting them. Because if they're ranged and they're in they get close enough for you to use menace, the battle has completely dissolved, right? Usually you don't get to do that. If they move in a pack or a ball, you can't. What I'm trying to say is menace is really hard to use at the immediate engagement, right? In Aether raids, for example, how do you use menace immediately against your enemy team? they would have to wall themselves off from you for some reason, right? It really just doesn't work very well. So I really hate Speed Res Menace. I don't think it makes any sense. We talked about Counter Roar on Corrin. I think we came in agreement that Counter Roar is her best B slot, followed by Magical Null Follow-Up. So we like both of them. Finish is our best A slot by far. She needs as much attack and speed as possible. And the healing goes really well with Primordial Breath. So you got 14 healing every time your special triggers. And depending on how she fights, she heals so much. Wait, is Primordial Breath after combat? Never mind. At least 14 HP per combat is what I'm trying to say. Okay, with that said though, your C slot, I mean, I personally still think Oath makes the most sense. I don't recommend Incite because Incite's not really a dual phase skill. And Corrin is infantry and of course will have issues moving along. So Oath makes the most sense to me. That's what I think. There's no point in something like Time's Pulse, and smokes do work. But again, smokes don't function immediately, so probably not the best. Technically speaking, she comes with a perfectly serviceable C slot, right? It's one of the joint drives. I just forgot which one. So you can go with one of those as well. Anyways, fine hero. This one is plus attack plus speed, 52 HP, 66 attack, 51 speed, 42 defense, and 37 res. So if you add everything up, Primordial Breath, 9, 16, 20. At minimum 71 speed. If you can get the debuffs up on them, it can 71 speed. If you can get this, it becomes 83. But I wouldn't count on Speed Res Menace. Your attack doesn't really matter that much, to be honest, because you're reflecting damage. But yeah, very nice. It is JDA, right? Yeah, I kind of would prefer JDA. Menace, as good as it is, just doesn't function well. How are things? Been a while. Looking for some advice for this build from Discord. Works good. It does work good, I know. But I honestly would just recommend, like, if you're in Aether raids or Summoner duels or something, you want something immediate, and it just doesn't provide it. But I think 04 is the best overall. Issa said, could you review my Copium Jeralt? Just finished building him. Alright, I'll check him out.
All will witness.
Issa's skipping the line, but I think if people are in Discord, you would know Issa. All right, Bladebreaker Jeralt, 40%, 9 flowers, 48 HP, 69 attack, 31 speed, 46 defense, 36 res. Breaker Lance, reposition, Glimmer, attack defense, catch, flow refresh. Oh god, dude, no. Flow refresh is Geralt's a dual phaser, dude. And he doesn't really have a lot of speed. 31 speed is pretty low, and he doesn't add any from his weapon, so. Infantry speed tactic, why? Okay. Fucking Pulse. What are you doing? Flow refresh only works when you initiate. Same thing with Death Blow, and Quick Impulse just for one cooldown Glimmer. Why would you do that? Recommendations, go for Bonfire. He has a lot of defense, and he buffs. Does he not? Looks attack defense -6 and panic on foe on the enemy team with highest attack plus defense. No, he doesn't buff. He just drops their attack and defense. My bad, I forgot that. It's been a while. But yeah, he has Menace himself, so it wouldn't make sense to go Menace. But he still is a dual phase hero, and you don't have to do it like this. What a lot of people like, right? Because essentially, at start of combat, unit's HP is 25% or above, inflicts attack defense -6 on foe during combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. He's slow. He's gonna get hit twice. So a lot of people like running attack smoke on him, which definitely works. Catch with smoke is also synergetic. If you run one catch with smoke, you should run 2 catch with smoke. But yeah, I wouldn't use Quick Impulse. It's just not worth it. All this for a Glimmer shot? he doesn't actually hit that hard. I know you're dropping their defense. But to try and kill him in... Like, if they have guard, you don't get your glimmer up anyways, right? Or you hit them, and then they hit you, and then you... Like, you're wasting their charge anyways, so that glimmer does nothing if they don't have guard. So you attack, they attack, so that's 2 cooldown down. That means their third attack was going to be glimmer anyways. So I really don't like the idea of quick impulse. If we're up to me, it'd be catch with catch, attack smoke 4, and for your B slot. I mean, even if he's a really good tank, I'd likely still take Kanto or something. Kanto isn't even that expensive anymore. Oh god, you have Unity. Man, if I had Unity, I'd just use Unity. Attack speed clash. What? Snag. Yeah. LOL, attack defense 4 is also good on him. But Kanto, like, he's a good hero. He really is. But if you let him get hit by everything, he's just gonna die. Anyways, if you think you really need infantry speed tactics, sure. But Jeralt's a pretty good fighter, and I don't think he should be the one carrying this. So, alright. Oh, just to not waste fodder. Alright, fair enough. Gambit? Oh yeah, definitely. Because he doesn't have slaying. Gambit's also works. So, you got 3 options. Trace? I went with Trace because it's cheapest. Remember, Gambit is only on 2 heroes. It's Robin, Brave Robin, and Halloween Anna. It's wildly, disgustingly expensive, and you can only take Gambit in those cases, right? That's why I don't like the idea of Gambit. But you can. It's the best option. LOL attack speed 3 or 4, or again, Trace. So that's what I think. It's hard for me to recommend Gambit because you can recommend Gambit in just about any build, but it doesn't really make sense because it's way too expensive. No problem, Issa. Alright, chat, we have a Camilla now. This is Jay Vasquez with another Camilla. I'm pretty sure I'm putting together a Jay Vasquez video with all the Camillas he's done. 4 plus 10, 25 flowers, Bewitching Beauty Camilla, 51 HP, 58 attack, 47 speed, 37 defense, 40 res, plus attack plus speed, arcing downfall, rally plus attack plus, no quarter, attack speed clash 4, flow refresh 4, panic smoke 4, attack speed solo 3, death blow echo. Do you really not have access to other echoes? It's just attack plus 4. You need speed, man. 5 up to, this is 9. No, it's 8. 13. 17. All this for 64 speed. Or, sorry, 70 speed? 5, 13, 17, 23. Yeah, 70 speed. 70 is okay. After battle, Panic Smoke 4 kicks in, but you lose your Flow Refresh. Remember, Flow Refresh does nothing when your opponent engages in you. It's just speed defense minus 4 when you engage. But when they engage, it doesn't do anything anymore. I really don't like Flow Refresh. For a hero like Camilla, I go Trace any day, every day. No Quarter is really good. Arcing Downfall idea is you attack and you can use No Quarter. If you really want to use No Quarter correctly, use one of the Desperation skills that you have available now. That's what I would do. The cheap option is obviously Dive Bomb, which you have. But yeah, the problem is, like, how do you get her out of combat? Because she's very vulnerable. So yeah, I really don't know. Dude, No Quarter is so good, but it's so hard to use correctly. Very few heroes can use it correctly. You need 2 shots with it to get it off. And you don't want to get hit. It doesn't matter for Dimitri because he just attacks immediately with No Quarter. Yeah, really good skill, really hard to use. Man, I don't know. I don't know. With all the combinations you have, you can do a lot of good builds, but I don't think this is it. I think you should just go Trace. I think you need that build to back out of the battle. And I think that makes this solid. Or you go for something that allows you to attack twice, so your No Quarter can function better with Downfall. That's what I think. She needs her Resplendent? Yeah, it's weird. Why does she not have her Resplendent? Alright, chat. Quick 1 minute break. I'll be right back. Oh, it just ran into 1 minute break. Well. Flow and Trace? Sure. That works too. I don't really think you need null follow-up. Just so you know, because she gets null. Doesn't she get null, chat? In Downfall. Unit, foe cannot make a fall attack. Oh, she doesn't. God damn it. Arcane Downfall is so bad. It's partial null follow-up. Just the defensive portion of it, which is not the good part. Alright, you can go flow. As long as you can back out of the battle, because I would not keep Camilla in the battle at all. She's in so much trouble. It has impact, right? I always forget that. But Downfall is really lame. That's what happens when you're one of the first releases for a weapon class. Big Meaty Man. Happy New Year's. Thank you so much. 40 plus 10, 20 flowers. 52 HP, 66 attack, 51 speed, 42 defense, 37 res. Plus attack, plus speed. Oh. Yeah, I really like this. I forgot about this. It's so good. Infantry Nullfall 4 is good. And you guys might be like, wait, what? Didn't you just slam someone for going for... Well, I don't want to mention his name, but for going for, you know, something similar on a cav? Well, it's obviously not Infantry Nullfall. Well, the difference is Infantry Nullfall 4 self-buffs, whereas the cav variant does not. It's for everybody else, which is super goofy. Anyways, this is really good because she doesn't have Nullfall. Counter Roar gives her all the defensive stats and healing that she needs, which goes really well with the Reflection because it's, right? Attack speed -4 on foe, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 30%. And unit's next attack deals damage equals 30% of foe's attack prior to reductions, and then restores 7 HP to unit after combat. So double Reflection makes a lot of sense. It works perfectly well together. The idea is you absorb the hit and you one-shot them, then it heals 7, finish heals 7, primary breath heals 7. That's 21. 21 out of 52 is a big amount. 21 out of 52 represents 40% healing after one combat. Insanity. And you shouldn't worry about like auto doubles and whatnot because you have the Nullfall built into you from here, right? And you got the teleportation, which is really nice. So I forgot about Infantry Nullfall. It is so good. Get it if you have the chance. But yeah, it makes the character 100% solid. I'm a fan of this. I think this is the perfect Corrin. Big Meaty Man, I think you got the perfect Corrin. I think there ain't anything better. This is it. Quick calcs chat. 5, 4, it's 9 by the way in her base kit. 9, 16, 20 extra speed for 71 speed. Not the greatest mark, but remember with all this reflection, it doesn't have to be. You're not necessarily worried about a second fight if you can just smash them in the first fight, right? Double reflection goes a long way. Whereas your attack is plus 16, which is 82, which is not bad. And your defense is 9, 13 for 55 and 50 res. All in all, this is what you're supposed to look at. But yeah, this is such a solid build. The stats don't overly jump out at you because they're not preposterous, but it's fine. The entire idea of this character is absorb damage and reflect. Damage reduction with damage reduction with damage reduction. Afterwards, reflection. And then afterwards, to conclude it all, healing. So, that's fine. I think you got it perfectly down. If you do a build like this, I don't think you're worried about anything. But yeah, perfect Corrin IMO. This is what I think is the best build. Hero of Elcam, this arena has been fun. Dude, I'm still surprised. Wait, I think I got a Corrin now. I gotta check sometime. I'm gonna feature a Corrin, by the way. Just gotta remember to make the video. I really need to go back to making videos, chat. I feel so bad. Oh my god, look at all these Corrins. TP4. Alright, big meaty man it is. All right, we got one more hero, and then I can take a quick 1 minute break, and then we can check out some stuff. Ryan, the Pepega Lord is back at it again. Well, you are a Pepega Lord, I agree. Dude, does this actually work? You went so hard for Kana. Dude, I know she's cute and she's your daughter and everything, but like, she's really bad. I'm sorry. 4+1, 5 flowers, 45 HP, 61 attack, 54 speed, 28 defense, 43 res, Arcane Grima, Rally Up Attack plus Aether, attack speed finish 4, counter roar 4, attack speed pledge, and distant counter D. It's such a commitment that I hate it just immediately. Finish is so good, but Arcane Grima already gives you all doubles. Does she really have the speed to pull it off? I don't know. Let's count her speed. 5, 12, 16. 16 up to 25 for 79 speed, which is pretty good. It is. But that's if everything goes off, and I'm, you know, not necessarily sure if that's enough anyways, because the heroes are so fast nowadays. And your attack is 5, 7, 12, 21 at minimum for 82. And then you got another 15% scaling here from Arcane Grima. And then you got damage reflection. I don't know, man. I think I like your pledge though. Pledge for faster Aether. With Grima dropping down to 4, the idea is every shot it's +1, so they attack, you attack, and hopefully you just attack with Aether right away. And with the counter roar and finish healing and Aether healing, it's a great idea. I just don't know if it works. Why do I doubt her so much, chat? I did a +1 Kana for Arena last week and I couldn't even make it. She was dying to like everybody and everything. It was so rough. Remember, as a bonus hero, you get +4 to all stats. So she was essentially functioning as a +11 hero, and she still lost all those fights. I like the idea. I just don't know how I believe in it. I wanted to so bad to believe in Kana being good, but in my eyes, she's probably just fodder. But yeah, I respect the Arcane Grima. It's a big deal. But yeah, if you can get off Aether every single time, if you can keep healing, the reflection drawing things further along, and because she is the most recent free-to-play hero, she has all, well, actually, she's no longer the most recent free-to-play hero, but this second most recent free-to-play hero, she has all the modern BST and stat distribution to make this work. So, yeah. Definitely go this encounter because she has a lot of res. All right, good. All right, chat. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's my code. Feel free to send in your heroes. Sugma said I should check out the anniversary calendar. Do you guys want me to check out the calendar? Write yes or no in. I'm gonna go grab some water. I'm literally out of water and I'm starting to get parched. After this, we're gonna watch the War Crimes video, and then after War Crimes video, I'll go back and do all the hero views. So here's my number. Send it in if you want. But yeah, let me know if you want me to check out the calendar. All right, I'm back. All right. Dang, I got scammed on rubies? What? What am I even reading? Where's my... When you go out of your way to explain the plans and people don't listen and then they tell you they got scammed, bruh. I said we're gonna go with the paid reviews first because they get priority. You have to give people incentive to donate, and the priority is that incentive. Then I said, hey, feel free to send in your heroes. We're gonna watch the Fire Emblem War Crimes video, and we're gonna continue with the hero reviews. I said that before I went for my break. Yeah, it shouldn't be a big deal because I explained what we're doing. So you didn't get scammed. I definitely recall you saying that, Sangs. Yeah, I know. I just went to grab water for a minute, dude. What the heck? Alright, I'm gonna do a quick refresh. You wanna know something, chat? Like, I saw something that was really friggin' fucked up on the internet. I mean, you see that all the time, but this one really got to me. Arnold talked about one competition where he tricked his opponent into leaving the stage first, and then he pointed at him and made it look like he was forfeiting, giving up, right? And people were like, wow, that's such a shoddy move. And some people were like, respected it because it's just like, he was playing to the crowd, he was playing to the judges. But people were like, no, Arnold's just a shitty person all the time. The bodybuilder, right? The movie star. And then there's one person who said, fans came up to Arnold and asked him, hey, how did you get so big? What can we do to get so big? And Arnold said, you should eat a lot of salt. And then they got salt poisoning, and then they were sent to the hospital. And this guy had like 1,000 upvotes and likes on YouTube. Then somebody asked him, what's the source? Right? If you're gonna make such a crazy claim where Arnold puts people into the hospital, should you not make sure it's true? Dude could not find it. He even said he couldn't find it. And not only did he admit he couldn't find it, he said he was so certain about it, but he couldn't find it. He said maybe it didn't happen at all. And then he said maybe he should remove it. That post was 3 months ago. He clearly made the decision not to remove it. Like, what? You are slandering this man's career and his history by making up some bullshit story with no credence. And you even know you can't back it up. And you have made the decision to keep it there. Really? That's the internet, man. I'm not putting this on Golem. I'm just saying it's so stupid. Why do people make these calls and say these things without, like, you know, being certain? It's not your reputation on the line, sure, but you can't be that careless, can you? Right? If for example you guys said one dumb thing and I just thought you were dumb forever, that wouldn't be nice, right? But like, what if thousands of people now think this of you? That's definitely not right. And anyways, the point I'm just trying to get across is like, if you're gonna jump to a judgment, at least make sure it's correct, please. I can even show you guys this. I remember looking at this, I was like, I even called this guy out. I thought that was just hot garbage. Why would you even write these things without checking on it? Here, I found it. Oh, maybe he did delete it. Because I wrote down, why would you even put this down here? Yeah, I think he deleted it, actually. Like, people were memeing, clearly. But this guy actually said the story was real. Right? Like, Arnold would sacrifice friends for a Batman suit. Right? Like, that makes no sense. That's so obviously a meme. But this guy actually wrote it, and he meant it. Yeah, this guy said, Omari said, stop spreading misinformation, dude. And I think he deleted it afterwards. Wow. I'm glad he deleted it, but look. 2 months ago, 3 months ago, he wrote a post 3 months ago saying that he actually, like, Arnold actually convinced some fans of his to eat a lot of salt and end up in the hospital. And it was like a really upvoted comment. I'm glad he deleted it. But what an asshole. Like, it's clear when people are memeing, right? Arnold would stab his friends in the back for a McDonald's Sprite. That's a meme, all right? No one's gonna take that seriously. That makes no sense. But this guy took it to another level by inciting something, believing that was real. What nonsense. Anyways. It's just sickening, because just because you're some random person online doesn't mean you gotta say whatever you want. Golem, this wasn't directed at you. It just reminded me of this because I just went over this and it was so sickening to the stomach, right? Because, you know, Arnold's not on the internet. He's not going to defend himself, nor should he even bother to defend himself, right? Imagine trying to defend yourself against countless waves of people that you've never met. It's insanity. So he shouldn't do anything. But if he doesn't do anything, people gotta just say whatever they want about him. So you see what it is, right? It's just a lose-lose. Because there's nothing you can do. And to try and do something is futile and just gonna waste your energy. It sucks, but that's the internet. That's the internet. That's what people get forced to live through. This game just makes me want to play Fire Emblem Engage. Yo. Engage, let's go. Alright, anyways, we got sent a bunch of heroes. Just so you guys know, I usually random these. I don't do all of them. I flip a coin on these. So there's a benefit to submitting your hero because it's guaranteed. Otherwise, you get a 50-50 on this list. So, yeah. You're not getting scammed. There is a point to using your points. It's to guarantee the review. Whereas if you submit it, it's not a guarantee. Okay. Alright, let's watch the War Crimes video and then we'll go back to hero reviews.
We all know Fire Emblem.
Thanks, Ballistica. Alright, I'm gonna double check before we start our next segment, which is watching the video. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow, all those nice things. I think you guys know Fire Emblem Heroes is not a booming game. I could use all the support you can give. I don't want to be that guy, but like, as a streamer, you have to make decisions.
This too.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for 10 months in a row. Thank you, JW. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. All right, you know what? Let me do your hero review first before we start the video. But yeah, I don't... like, it's better if I let you guys know than one day just disappear and people are like, what the fuck? Why'd he stop? As a content creator, if my dream is to be a full-time content creator, I have to do things that make sense. If when you stream Faye, you don't get the support, you don't get the viewership, you don't get, you know, it's not a booming game, so we're not even talking about like, hey, can we get new followers and whatnot, new subscribers and whatnot. That's not happening. This game is on a downward trend. But yeah, a lot of Faye content creators have quit in recent times. I know you guys will always name a couple of them. Great. But I've been around since 2017, and I've seen so many people quit. and it's always for the same reasons. It becomes not worth it. In the last month of the year, I mean, it doesn't feel right to name people because people will take it the wrong way, but I'm gonna miss Lubu, and Akaris once upon a time was the biggest Faye streamer, but he quit. They both quit in the last month, and I don't even have to speak to them to know. Well, Lubu especially, because he made a video talking about it, but I could figure it out. Come on. The same thoughts are on my mind, just as everyone else. But yeah, the support really means a lot, but at a certain point, when there is no... when it doesn't make sense anymore, you stop. Because it wouldn't make sense. Anyways, I appreciate the support, but please don't forget to show it. It means a lot. You guys already know I stream a lot of other games, right? I play Genshin, I play Honkai Star Rail, I play Nikkei. At this point, they all do better than Faye, which is the sad part. Like, I still try, but at a certain point, you gotta realize it for what it is and just do what it is. Act on what it is. Okay, anyways, let me do JW Ballistica. Oh, you don't have to? I just forgot it wasn't sub? No, dude. Thank you so much. Should we friend each other on Fate? Yeah. Rock, I haven't done anything yet, but I will.
Just do what you think is right, bud, and keep up the grind and good work.
Thank you. I don't want to. It makes me sad thinking about the day I'll stop being content creator for Faye. But at the same time, if this is my goal to be a full-time content creator, I can't really sacrifice the future just for something. Alright. Let me do this one real quick. Oh, damn it. I know I got a number wrong. 3539. 3539. I think I got one extra 2. JW. Ballistica of the Sword Student Fair. Oh my gosh, she looks so good. 40 plus 10, 30 flowers, 50 HP, 57 attack, 54 speed, 36 defense, 43 res. Oh god, no. Why? Oh, all this. Dude, I think Quick Impulse is so bad. I know you're trying to pre-charge Godlike Reflexes. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Godlike Reflexes, overrated. I do not believe for a moment it is not overrated. I think it is absurdly overrated. Chat, Godlike Reflexes. If you ask me, should you use Godlike Reflexes or Vital Astra? I would just say Vital Astra. If you can't use Godlike Reflexes naturally, just go Vital Astra. Now you might ask why. In the current game, there's a lot of ways to take away instant pulses, right? There are. Pulse Tie is a good example, right? But let's say you don't fight someone with Pulse Tie. Let's say you fought someone new who just took away your charge immediately, right? Scowls take it away. If any of those situations happen where you immediately lose your Godlike Reflex, everything's broken. It just doesn't work. So, for example, the new Christmas Heroes, they don't even care that you have a special. They just take it away, right? That's not really worth the fight then. And obviously, Elamim, someone that everyone knows, but you're not really worried about fighting Elamim, sure. But what about heroes like Veil and whatnot, right? If you attack into something that's been guarded by Veil. So yeah, it's just too flimsy, and it's becoming more flimsy over time. And I know this really well because I run a very similar build, and I'll show you this afterwards on one of my heroes who's pretty merged up as well. But yeah, let's go through this quickly. Arcane Devour is really good, cooldown +1. The idea is if you have instant Godlike Reflexes, They attack you, then you counter attack, and you have godlike reflexes back, which is really nice. You got knock up, 4% damage reduction. All of it works really well for instant godlike reflexes. Is what everyone thought initially, but it changed over time. This is an AS solo, close call 4, time spells 4, just to max this out. But can you afford it is what I'm going to question, because you only have 54 speed at base, 5 plus 5 is 10, 14 effective. 68 speed. If you can't even hit 70 speed nowadays, it is so rough. I don't recommend it. If you could get rid of Quicken Pulse, for example, get someone else with Infantry Pulse to get Fair. Oh, but Fair has a lot of HP. That's rough. If you have some other way to get instant godlike reflexes, things start working out. But if you have to use Quicken Pulse, it doesn't. If you can run like, I don't know, attack speed solo, add another 6 speed. So from 68, you go to 74. Now it's starting to work out. But if your speed doesn't get high enough, your close call doesn't work correctly, neither does your godlike reflexes, which scales off of your unit speed. So, what I gotta say is, Vital Astra, I think, is just generally better. If you can't naturally use godlike reflexes,
Gal and Veil's Fell Protection don't work against defensive
Oh
specials,
shit, you're right.
Just like Rally Spectrum doesn't have synergy with them either.
You're right. So it's only the pulse tie situations where you lose it. But again, even if it works out, you want to know the problem? If they have guard, it breaks. And I know this. I'll show you guys. All right. My bad. Here. This is why. My mistake. That's right. It doesn't work on defensive specials and it still counts as defensive special. I probably misremembered that because of the Vital Astra interaction. However, it doesn't really change anything. The reason why I bring it all up is this. We can all agree this is a better setup, no? AS Solo was not available at this time, so keep that in mind. Alright, so here's Larcy. She's not at +10. She doesn't have all the flowers you do. Sure. But Larcy is better set up for it because she pulses herself immediately. So if times +4, Larcy's Edge, it's immediate godlike reflexes. However, this breaks all the friggin' time, which drives me nuts. Granted, she doesn't get special cooldown charge +1, so there's that. But it breaks a lot. There's a lot of ways to break it, and I don't recommend it. I kind of regret not going for Vital Astra at this point. But yeah, I think if you got one cooldown, you just go for Vital Astra. But yeah, you don't have tempo. That's the thing. So they guard, it breaks. If they pulse it, it breaks. I don't know if it's worth it, all that trouble just for godlike reflexes. I think this skill is so overrated. Pulse tie, melancholy, pulse smoke. Right, like there's any number of things that break it. Even if you can trigger it one time, if they got guard, it breaks. So I don't recommend it. It's only the new heroes that can use it naturally that I would recommend it on. So, but thank you for correcting me because I did forget. It counts as defensive special and does not work. I did get Vital Astra for both my Larcys, mainly for extra damage, yeah. The new Severa just runs it better, and maybe even Larcy because of tempo. Yeah, I would 100% say you should, like, Severa just makes sense. She was built with it in mind, but the heroes that weren't built with it in mind, Arcane Devour is just a copium option to try and pull it off. That's what I think anyways. If you have buffer 4, I would say run GLR. You would have to have something that can like set it up super easily. But if you go buffer 4, why don't you just use Severa? I think I would take like a base Severa over Larcy, for example. Or sorry, over Larcy, over Bear, over any of those other heroes. Hey Teresa, how was the reviews? I just got here. We're just about to watch the video and resume. We're taking a break from reviews to watch a video. By the way, I'm thinking of structuring streams like this in the future, chat, where we do something then we watch a video and react to it, then we do other things. This gives me a break midway through, so it's not as tiring to be a hero review streamer. And our break for tonight is... Oh, you're playing Skyrim, nice. Alright, chat, real quick, this is the video. If you guys want to check it out, by Will Bill. It's a very cool video. It took a lot of work. Dude even shows his work with the spreadsheet. 85,000 views. The video title? How many war crimes does each Fire Emblem Lord commit? I asked you guys, who do you think commits the most war crimes? Some of you guys give me joke answers, like Marth. The Hero King's actually the war crime king. No, that's probably not the case. But we're about to find out. So I think everyone immediately thinks about Edelgard, Dimitri. They're pretty bad, I agree. But there's a lot of lords in Fire Emblem. And so, let's find out. I'm gonna announce this, by the way. All right, all right. Let's watch. If you guys have a guesstimation, put it up right now, and I'll run a poll partway through. But let's start.
We all know Fire Emblem and war crimes go hand in hand. But how many war crimes does each Fire Emblem character commit?
Yes.
In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact war crimes of every Fire Emblem protagonist, from the first game in the series to Fire Emblem Engage. For the sake of avoiding repeats, I'm just going to ignore FE 1, 11, and 12 for the Arcanea games and just focus on 3.
That's fine. As long as it covers it, it's fine. All right, sorry, I'm gonna increase volume because it was a bit lower than I thought.
And I'll just focus on Shadows of Valentia and not bother with Gaiden. Having kept everything in a spreadsheet, we have a number of different categories which apply to the various Fire Emblem characters, but the first one, which applies to pretty much everyone, is child soldiers. Worth noting is that the cutoff is 15 years old, meaning that a lot of the children in Fire Emblem actually don't count. Luckily for us, there are still plenty of children under 15 throughout these games, so I'll go through them all, listing them in order from Fire Emblem 1 all the way through Fire Emblem 17. One last thing I do want to note is that I'm going to be counting the Manicheets. They may not be children.
I don't like that. The Geneva Convention is only about human beings. I don't think dragons count. And it's such a big loophole because dragons live forever, but because they're so innocent, you know, you would look at them still as children, but like, man, that's pushing it. That's pushing it.
But they are absolutely children that should not be enlisted. I'm going to be assuming that you're recruiting all characters possible.
No, they're not children. They're friggin' dragons. You should enlist dragons to help you win your wars. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, okay, it'd be nice if they were like, you know, more mature about it as they kill the enemies, but like, no, you should enlist weapons of mass destruction in the ancient world, alright?
But I'm not going to bother with the child units from Fire Emblem Awakening or Fates. Starting off strong, Marth has a solid tally at 6, including Ricard, Maria, Tiki, Ryan, Ubello, and Yulia. Sigurd only has 2 with Du and Sylvia, and Celise is a bit more complicated due to having replacement units. To make things easier, we'll just assume that everyone in Gen 1 was paired. That leaves us with Patty, Tine, Fee, and Charlotte. Leaf has 4 child units, including Sarah, Nana, Karen, and Miranda. For Roy, we have Lou, Ray, Chad, Kath, and Faye. For the FE7 Lords, everyone is guilty of having Nils on their team, but Lynn is exempt from having Nino. Ephraim and Erica enlist Ross, Amelia, Ewan, and Myrrh. In FE9, Ike enlists Rolf, Soth, and Tormod. In FE10, many of these characters have grown up, but the only one who still remains committing war crimes is Makaya in her recruitment of Sanaki.
I don't even know why Sanaki, but she volunteered, alright? She should say no, but Sanaki is an empress and, you know, they have relations, so, hard to say no.
Awakening is Noe and Rickon. Then in FE Fates we have Hayato, Sakura, and Elise. The only unit under 15 in Fire Emblem Shadows of Elincia is Delphia in Alm's army, though she can technically be recruited by Celica through extenuous means. For the Three Houses Lords, in order to make things clear, I've broken things up a bit. Byleth is going to encapsulate the war crimes for the Part 1, and then Edelgard, Claude, Dimitri, and Sedith will represent the war crimes of each respective path in that game. Flame can be used on all routes but Edelgard's, and Cyril is still 14 at the beginning of the game.
Cyril's counts, Flame does not. IMO.
Though after the time skip, he is a legal soldier. Finally, we reach Effie Engage, where we have Jean, Anna, and Hortensia, all under the age of 15. Conscripting child soldiers is the most common war crime amongst Fire Emblem characters, so from this point on, we'll be getting into more niche war crimes.
I really don't like the war crime argument for child soldiers because the Geneva Convention doesn't exist in their universe, but even if it did, the age of soldiers are just much younger because this will be about a medieval fantasy, you know? So that one's always the iffiest and always the most boring one. But yes, every lord commits committing child soldiers to their armies.
Our first topic up is compelling a prisoner of war into service. This one doesn't come up in most Fire Emblem games, but it does appear in Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776. In this game, there are 3 recruitments which require you to capture an enemy, and then they join you in the next chapter, which include Livis, Salem, and Misha. With that out of the way, we can move on to the next category, which is killing civilians and medics. Our first war criminal is Sigurd, having killed a single priest in the Siege of Herhain. His son, on the other hand...
Wait, is he gonna count every priest killed? That's iffy.
Elise has killed a number of unarmed medics. He killed 2 priests in the Siege of Melgen, a Loptus Bishop in Chapter 10, 2 Troubadours in the Regale Squad, 4 Chalfie priests, 2 priests...
I would argue if they attacked and they're armed and they are fighting, they're a valid target. So that's iffy with me as well. Because you do know Troubadours attack you, right, chat? They don't just sit by like, oh, I'm just going to be healed. No, they actually attack you.
In Melitus, 2 Troubadours in Edda, 3 Troubadours in Dozel, 3 in Zhongbi, and 3 High Priests at Valhalla. Moving down the list...
Are we talking about them being unarmed? I thought they were armed.
So we have to go all the way to FE8 to find our next war crime, which is 1 Troubadour killed in Scorched Sand. Ike killed 4 unarmed medics, 1 in 3-8.
Because I remember, because he's mentioning Ike right now, because I remember in Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, they definitely attack you.
2.
For example, if you kill, like, who's the fat guy? Who everyone thinks is so elegant and what nonsense. Oliver. He's a bishop, right? He tries to kill you. You know that, right? He's still a bishop. You know? What does that count as?
2 in 4-4 and 1 in Rebirth 1. Makai killed a single priest in 1-8. And finally, we have the Hawk army / Alencia's army who killed a single priest in 4-2. In both Birthright and Revelations, 2 healers were killed in the Ninja Village. With that all out of the way, I wanted to go over one additional situation which might count. Towards the end of FE10, Ashera's loyal subjects become the Order, and these are all people who were taken from Begnion, who are normal civilians, who were blessed by her. Due to their power, equipment, and organization, I'm not going to count this, but I could...
Good! Don't count them! If a civilian picks up a weapon, they're no longer a civilian.
See why you would. Our next category up is another one exclusive to Thracia 776, that being using civilians in combat to force enemy action. Capture baiting enemies in Thracia is a very effective tactic as it effectively halves all your enemies' attacks and forces them to not attack during that turn, so I'll be counting all the chapters which have civilian green units in them.
I'm not, this isn't my video glitching, chat. It's literally a black screen. Why is he using a black screen? Run some B-roll, dude.
That includes 6 civilians in Chapter 4, 6 in 4X, 3 in 11X, 6 in 14X, 8 in Chapter 18, 6 in Chapter 23, and 8 in Chapter 24.
He has literally a minute of just black. Did you never check your video? Why would you run a minute of a black screen?
With that out of the way, we finally reach a new category.
This is not a glitch. He really just used a black screen for all this. What?
That being compelling soldiers to fight against their home country. In Mystery of the Emblem, Marth forces
Yeah, see? It wasn't glitch. He really just ran a minute of black screen. Why? I'm sorry, as a content creator, that immediately gets to me. Why would you do that? You could just run anything there. Why would you just play a black screen? That makes no sense.
Wolf, Sedgar, Roshea, and Violin to fight against their home country. Sigurd
Yeah,
has
I don't understand that
against
at all.
Ligustria and Tailchew against Free.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to rant about this quickly. If you're going to make a video with this much research, the hard part was the research. The video part's the easy part. Why would you mess that up? That doesn't make any sense. That's the easy thing. You could put anything there. You could just put a battle there in the background and people would understand. It baffles me that why he did that. You're going to lose viewers there and people are going to be like, is this a glitch or not? Because in modern YouTube, no one's going to run a black screen like that for that long. Unless they're trying to say something serious, but you could argue this is serious, but you know what I mean. This is not the appropriate time to run a black screen.
In Gen 2, there's only Hannibal who's forced to fight against Thracia. In FE5, Sias, Ilios, Olwyn, and Fred are forced to fight against their home countries. In FE6, we have Ellen, Gale, Melody, and Zeus. In the Sacred Stones, it's Natasha, Cormag, and Noel. FE9 has Tauronio, Har, Jill, and Zeark. Awakening has Tharia. Birthright has Silas, Jacob, and Felicia.
I'd argue against this one. People, they're not truly forced. You know what I mean? But okay, this one's kind of soft, I would say.
Conquest has Kaze, Shura, and Mozu. In addition to this, however, all the Fates games have access to the capture mechanic in Prison in a different way than it is implemented in FE5. In Fates, all your prisoners are sent to a prison back in the Dream Realm, and you can conscript them by bribing them or torturing them, which is deeply unethical. Due to the fact that you can technically recruit a pseudo-infinite amount of enemies, it's difficult to put an exact number on this, so we're going to have to make our own metrics. Since the prison can hold up to 3 units in it, we'll just say that each route has 3 prisoners recruited. Moving on to 3 houses, in part 1, Ash is sent against his home country and forced to fight his foster dad.
I played that moment. I remember that moment very well. We gave him the option to back off, did we not? He didn't have to fight. Why did he? I don't even understand why he came along. Because he wanted to do it. He wanted to be a part of it. That's what I remember. And I purposely deployed him, trying to get him to kill his dad to get some special lines. There was no special lines.
Part 2 is a bit complicated in a similar vein to Fire Emblem Fates, since all the out-of-house characters can pretty much be recruited into any other house. I'm not going to list out every single character here, but just know that recruiting characters from out-of-house is a war crime. Our next...
What? Do you guys believe that? He just said if you recruit someone out of house, that's a war crime. That's a crazy reach. No, it's not. Because they chose to switch to your class. You convinced them. And whatever they do afterwards is a separate matter of its own. But recruiting someone from a different house is not a war crime. That action itself is not a war crime. What they choose to do afterwards as part of the class could be, sure, but the action of recruiting someone, you can't just say recruiting out of class is a war crime. That's not the actual war crime.
Foster dad. Part 2 is a bit complicated in a similar vein to Fire Emblem Fates, since all the out-of-house characters can pretty much be recruited into any other house. I'm not going to list out every single character here, but just know that recruiting characters from out-of-house is a war crime.
No, he just straight up says that. What? No.
Our next category is the destruction and appropriation of enemy property. In Fire Emblem 4 Part 1, 17 enemy castles are taken in total and used by the army throughout their occupation of said countries. In Part 2, that number jumps to 24. In addition to this, your thieves are able to steal all gold on an enemy unit when they attack. This is also another thing that's pretty difficult to quantify, so we're just going to ignore it due to it.
Good. I thought this guy was about to say stealing gold is a war crime. If a thief steals, it's not a war crime. Dude, if you walk into a 7-Eleven and you saw a chocolate bar, you put it in your pocket and you forgot to pay with it and you walked out, that's a war crime now. No, good. Don't do that. That's a stretch, man.
Most casual playthroughs being pretty insignificant. FE5 allows you to capture enemies and take all their gear, forcefully trading it off of them before releasing them. This makes quantifying Leaf's war crimes very difficult, since every playthrough is going to look very different. Because of that, I'm just going to make something up. Let's say that Leaf, on average, will steal 3 items per chapter. Now, this is obviously going to be very different depending on each individual chapter. There are some chapters where you're going to steal a lot of items, like in the Prison Break chapter, and there are some where you're not going to steal any, like in the Escape chapter. I think 3 is a pretty reasonable amount to keep it at. If you disagree, let me know in the comments.
That's also a stretch. Where are the real serious war crimes? These are like soft war crimes. I think people... By the way, war crimes were normal back in the day. If we're talking about medieval wars, it's normal to break into... If a town has defended themselves for like a couple months, do you know what normally happens? Once they break through the gates, they're massacring everyone, slaughtering everyone, pillaging. There's a word that sounds like grape, and everything is dead, and you take everything. That's just normal courtesy back then.
In all the Tellius games, thieves exist and can steal items off of enemies.
For resisting.
But in addition to this, Ike's army in Chapter 3.3 burns enemy supplies. Similarly, in Three Houses, items can also be stolen. There is an additional thing I did want to bring up though, which is that in Chapter 14 of Claude, Dimitri, and Seth's route, you set fire to a town. Our next war crime is declaring that no quarter will be given. I've decided that route maps pretty much...
Is that a war crime? Hold on. That, in my books, is not a war crime. You want to know why? It's historic. You know why you're declaring no quarter? So it's known. If you fight someone who has declared no quarter, which means if you get captured, you will be killed. Right? It's like a surprise attack, right? Is wrong, but if you declared your attack and you attacked, right? It's not the same thing anymore. I don't think no quarter is a war crime. Declaring no... It historically, say during, when England fought France, it was normal for the French to signal no quarter, right? So are they just committing war crimes every time? No, they're telling you, if you fight us, we will not spare you. It's a declaration. I don't think no quarters... I mean, technically speaking, yeah, you shouldn't slaughter prisoners, but if you declared no quarter and they chose to fight you still... then you're just following up on what you promised. I don't know. I don't think that's... I don't see it that way. It's normal. It's very normal in medieval combat to declare no quarter.
Fit this description? That said, I'll still be counting story elements where no quarter is declared. In FE5, Leaf specifically declares no quarter against Raedric. In Lynn's story, Chapter 1, 3, 5, 7x, and 8 are all route maps. For Eliwood, it's 12, 14, 22, 22x, 25, and 27.
For the love of God,
And
just
for
put something on the
Hector's
screen.
chapters
Why is the
12,
black
14,
screen?
23, 23x, 27, and 29. For the Sacred Stones, there are a number of route maps that are specifically against zombies and other monsters, so I'm not going to be counting those. Still, there are chapters 2 and 15 on all routes, as well as chapter 9 on Erica route, and chapter 13 on Ephraim route. In FE9, we have chapters 2, 7, 12, 17, 1, 8, and 25. From Kaya's army, it's part 1 prologue, 1-4, 1-6-1, 1-8, 4 prologue.
I thought this was a better video than this. You guys, a lot of people talk about this video. This is just information dumping. No explanation, no visuals, just dumping information. Wow, I was really excited about this. This video has a lot of upvotes, but this is very poorly executed. You can call me a hater or whatever, but as a content creator, how can I possibly say this was a good job?
And chapter 4-3. For Ike, it's 3-1, 3-8, 3-10, 4-1, 4-4, and 4.
I have no idea. I don't even know if it's true or not. You're not showing me anything.
Final one. Finally, for FE10, we only have one route map for the Hawk Army / Elincia's army, which is 4-2. In Awakening, the prologue, chapter 5, chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 15, and 23 are all route maps. Birthright has chapter 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17, 22, and 23. Conquest is chapter 7, 13, and 19, and Revelation has 11 and 14. In addition, for Conquest and Revelation, Perry is part of the army, meaning that she's probably committing a lot of crimes. Thing is, she isn't being commanded to do that, she's going out on her own, so we're not going to count it against them. In Shadows of Lancia...
What? He just differentiated from Perry's own war crimes. What? It's not how it works. That's not how it works. You want to know? Okay, for example, in our current day and age, everyone's like, Putin's committing war crimes. Okay, well, he's not in Ukraine right now slaughtering people. He's not. But it's attributed to him because he's the commander, right? He's the president and commander-in-chief of the Russian army. Perry's war crimes would be attributed to her commander, not just herself. Huh? You can't... What? I've never heard this nonsense before. That's not how war crimes work. It's attributed to your commander. Yourself as well, obviously, but your commander takes responsibility just the same.
13, 15, 16, 17, 22, and 23. Conquest is chapter 7, 13, and 19, and Revelation has 11 and 14. In addition, for Conquest and Revelation, Perry is part of the army, meaning that she's probably committing a lot of crimes. Thing is, she isn't being commanded to do that, she's going out on her own, so we're not going to count it against them. In Shadows of Valencia, Alm has 8 route chapters in Act 1, 7 in Act 3, and 8 in Act 4. Celica has 7 in Act 2, 6 in Act 3, and 3 in Act 4. 3 Houses is a surprisingly low number of route maps, just chapter 6 in part 1. In all but Edelgard's route, there is chapter 14. Surprisingly, Edelgard's route has no route maps, though you could count the extermination of those who slither in the dark in the...
I would really like to know what when he decides to use an image, why he uses the image. This has nothing to do with war crimes. We can all agree on that. So why would you keep like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of straight blank? If you're just gonna put like a random image up, why don't you just put random images up in general? I'm so confused. I thought this was a better video. I'm not trying to shit talk this guy. It's just genuine criticism or feedback. Like, there's no reason to do it like this.
Post-game as a declaration of no quarter. Moving on to another niche category, which is surprisingly not held by Thracia this time, we have Perfidy.
September 17th of September 2023. It's not even 4 months old. It's not an ancient video.
This is committed a single time by Claude's army in chapter 18, where they disguise as Imperial troops. Continuing with the more niche categories, we'll go on.
That is true. People don't know that. You cannot disguise yourself as enemy troops. But you want to know something? Every single time in human history, when someone disguises himself as an enemy troop and they break into the castle and do whatever nonsense, everyone thinks they're friggin' geniuses and no one trials them for war crimes. It's like the softest war crime of all time because everyone does it. Have you never heard of like people in the American army dressing up as, in World War II, as officers of the Reich, and they're pretending to be things? Like, didn't we even have I know it's a movie, but like it's based off the ideas of, you know, a real thing. Didn't we have the Quentin Tarantino film of Inglourious Bastards? That movie is literally war crimes. There's a scene where they're pretending to be Reich officers. Well, actually, no. They were pretending to be filmmakers, but there is an individual in that movie who is pretending to be a Reich officer, and he's a double agent and whatnot. That's a war crime. It's normal. People do that all the time. It's the softest war crime.
On to killing prisoners of war and depriving them of a trial. Thracia has 5 armor knights locked up in chapter 20 who somehow get weapons and you are forced to kill them. In Azure Moon at the end of chapter 14, Dimitri kills Randolph after he is surrendered. Finally, in Conquest, you can kill Shura for boots and absolutely will do so. This one is technically mutually exclusive with having Shura fight against his home country, so we'll only count one of the two against Conquest. Moving on for another niche category, we have using an attack knowing that it will cause incidental loss of life or damage to the environment. This is another category held exclusively by Fire Emblem Fates. In all routes in chapter 6, you can use your Dragon Vein to dry up a river, which was a vital water source for the nearby towns. The rest take place in Revelation.
That's a good war crime. For the purposes of your battle, you just screwed up an entire village.
The first one being chapter 14, where you can lower the water in a port town. Now, this would obviously have disastrous consequences on all the sailors and fishermen of the town. This also destroys the habitat of a number of animals in the water. Finally, in Revelation chapter 22, you can burn down the woods, which I don't need to explain that. Our next category is attacking an enemy who has laid down arms. Since you can steal weapons in Fire Emblem 5 as well as the Tellius games, this could technically apply to a number of enemies. I think this lines up close enough with the appropriation of property that we're not going to have to bother counting it. That said, in Fire Emblem Fates, in chapter 25 of Birthright, you can use a Dragon Vein to disarm enemies, which is not an ethical thing to do. That said, it is not a route map, so you don't
Wait, what? Is he counting disarming someone as a war crime now? Why?
disarm enemies, which is not counting it. That said, in Fire Emblem Fates, in Chapter 25 of Birthright, you can use a Dragon Vein to disarm enemies, which is not an ethical thing to do. That said, it is not a route map, so you don't technically have to kill anyone, so we're not going to bother counting it either. Our final category is using poisoned or biological weapons. Since magic exists in the Fire Emblem universe, there's more things that we have to consider here that the Geneva Convention didn't have to. Are Berserk Staffs an ethical use of magic? I don't think so. I'm not going to count specifically silence staves as biological weapons, but most other status staves will be counted. Marth exclusively has access to the silence staff, which means that we don't have to worry about him. In Fire Emblem 4, the sleep staff is available pretty early on, and the berserk staff is available in part 2 if you didn't get a specific pairing. In Thracia, status staves are plentiful due to the fact that enemies can be captured. Additionally, dark magic inflicts poison on the enemy. This just means that Salem is a massive walking war crime. Again, it's difficult to quantify.
Would that really be a war crime? You're not permanently silencing them. What?
Status staves are plentiful due to the fact that enemies can be captured. Additionally, dark magic inflicts poison on the enemy. This just means that Salem is a massive walking war crime.
Okay, yeah. Poisoning people is a war crime, but people do that anyways, so.
Again, it's difficult to quantify the number of war crimes committed in Thracia. For staves, we'll just say 1 per map, which accounts for the heavier usage in the end game and the lack of usage in the beginning of the game. In the GBA games, sleep staves and berserk staves exist. In the Tellius games, only sleep staves exist, but poison weapons can also be employed. Fates has a number of options, including freeze, enfeeble, and hexing rod, which is deeply unethical and very frustrating. Shadows of Valencia exclusively has freeze, and Three Houses doesn't have any status staves, but there are poison weapons which can be forged. Finally, for engage, daggers inflict poison on the enemy, and the freeze staff exists. Daggers complicates things significantly, considering that they're pretty much one of the most optimal items to use in combat, and it's difficult to assess a game on how many times a certain item is used.
This is an opinion video,
I
agree.
The 20 chapters Unica is available, a dagger user is deployed on each map. I think that's fair considering how powerful daggers are. With all that, that brings us to the end of the war crimes tally.
Okay, well, that's the end, but like... Daggers are a war crime now? How did that happen? I know they put debuffs, but like... That's a stretch. Okay.
Complicates things.
People argue it's not humane, therefore it's a war crime. But you want to know, like, war crime? Okay, I'm just gonna say this now before we get to the ending. War crimes only matter if you're the loser. People understand that, right? For example, in World War I, when German troops fought American troops, they argued shotguns are a war crime. And you might hear this and be like, what the heck? It's just another gun. No, because shotguns, if you survive it, you got a bunch of pellets in you, and you're all mangled up, it's suffering. So their argument is it's a war crime. And Americans said, well, we won the war, so suck it. And did they ever do anything to anyone who used a shotgun? No. Right? Did they go back and say, oh, it's French troops. Oh, they also use mustard gas. We're going to try these guys. No, they didn't. War crimes only happen if you lost. That's how it works. Anyways, the point is, this one was, so many of this was such a stretch. I thought it was like concrete, undeniable war crimes. And he did go into a couple of them. Like, for example, when the river dried up and a village now has to suffer for it, yeah, that is a war crime. But when he goes and says, like, oh, Perry did war crimes on her own and was not commanded by her commander, no. Historically, if your troops committed these things and you do not punish them, it's absolutely your fault. And even if you punish them, it's still your fault. They still attribute it to you. So that's how war crimes really work. So it feels like the idea of war crimes wasn't even well researched before going in this. But yeah, like a lot of these were just really soft ideas of war crimes. Like we all knew about child soldiers. He spent a lot of time on that. And a lot of other things were really finicky IMO. But let's get to his tally.
Significantly, considering that they're pretty much one of the most optimal items to use in combat, and it's difficult to assess a game on how many times a certain item is used. We'll say that for the 20 chapters Unica is available, a dagger user is deployed on each map. I think that's fair considering how powerful.
I understand you guys are arguing daggers have poison in it. Cool. The idea of it is because it's unethical. But again, if you run that same tally and same idea, you would immediately argue other things. For example, if you're set on fire, that should be a war crime as well, right? It's the idea of the war crime that's not being passed together, and he's looking at the strict definitions of what it is. Which, by the way, setting people on fire, absolutely a war crime. But then if you put somebody on fire in as a mage, right? Like, that's just your function. With, like, daggers and magic and whatnot, it should be all in the same category, because it's the idea that's happening.
Powerful daggers are. With all that, that brings us to the end of the war crimes tally. I will now list each of the Fire Emblem Lords, starting with the least war crimes and moving up to the most amount of war crimes committed. At the very bottom of our list, with only a single war crime, we have Elincia's army and the Hawk army. The next highest was 4
Azelle does war crimes as well, yes.
Part 1. I'm glad they don't rank any higher, because if my professor had 5 or more war crimes, I definitely would be concerned for my well-being. Lyn has the next least amount of war crimes, with 6, followed by...
Let's go, Lyn! At only 6! 6 war crimes! I think most of it he counted as, like, recruitment child soldiers, which is ultra iffy, but alright.
And Micaiah with...
Remember, Lyn is, what, 15 herself? Depends on the localization you play. She's a lot younger in Japan. So, if a 15-year-old recruited a 14-year-old to fight, is it still really a war crime, considering you're barely... Like, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of counting that. That doesn't really make sense, you know?
9. Next up, we have a 3-way tie between Hector, Eliwood, and Marth, with 10 war crimes each.
I think most of the war crimes are, again, recruitment.
Radiant Dawn Ike has an impressive 11 war crimes. Following him, we have a 3-way tie between Eric...
I'd argue killing God is a war crime, right? You can't kill medics, for example, right? Like, that's a war crime. But what about if you killed God? I'd argue that's a war crime. I feel like this took it too literally and didn't keep in mind this is a fantasy game. Because you could have made arguments for a whole lot of things, like what I just said, killing God.
Erica, Ephraim, and Robin. With 14 war crimes, we have Edelgard and Path of Radiance Ike. Now, it is worth noting that Path of Radiance Ike is a mercenary, meaning he is technically exempt from this. Continuing along, we have...
Ah, wow. I'm actually surprised he mentioned that. Per the rules of war, mercenaries do not... If you get captured, you basically have no rights. You are not counted as a you are not, like, of a nation. Which means if they wanted to kill you, and they do, it's not really a war crime because you're a merc.
Crimes each. Radiant Dawn Ike has an impressive 11 war crimes. Following him, we have a 3-way tie between Erica, Ephraim, and Robin. With 14 war crimes, we have Edelgard and Path of Radiance Ike. Now, it is worth noting that Path of Radiance Ike is a mercenary, meaning he is technically exempt from this. Continuing along, we have Conquest Corrin with...
It's also interesting how you look at lords, emperors and empresses, kings and queens, because throughout human history, they've been exempt just from straight up from laws. They do not count. So a character like Edelgard, for example, may or may not even count. And this sounds insane to people because we're in the 21st century and whatnot, but that's the reality of it. Once upon a time, you could be exempt. For example, one of the greatest generals of all time, right? Julius Caesar. He cannot be counted for anything. Like, he could literally take your money, borrow your money, and never pay you back, but he's free from it because the Senate has you know, because he's currently he's currently Caesar. He's exempt from all kinds of laws. So you can commit war crimes. Technically, you committed it, but it doesn't count against you. Just like the mercenary status idea. I don't know. It feels like it's too dry. You could have taken a lot of these things and made good judgments calls.
15 war crimes. Celica, Claude, and Sedith each have 16. And Dimitri has 17 war crimes. Moving along, we have Birthright Corrin with 22.
Corrin has more war crimes than Dimitri? What?
They are followed closely by Sigurd and Alir, who each have 23. Moving on to the top 3.
Wow, he actually put a joke in.
In third place, we have Elm with
He should be doing that a lot more often in this video. I don't know why he didn't use so much black space.
30 war crimes. This is pretty much just due to the density of route maps in his game. In second, we have Celise with 52 war crimes. Celise kills a lot
Is he saying Celise?
of medics throughout his journey, as well as takes control of way more castles than he probably needs. Finally,
I don't know. Does Seliph actually just kill unarmed medics? Again, if they fight, they're no longer counted.
taking the #1 spot with 151 war crimes, it is Leaf. With nearly 3 times the war crimes of his cousin, Leaf is unsurprisingly #1 on this list, considering he's basically a terrorist and is just stealing and pillaging all he can from.
That's not who I thought would win this. I think it's a very dry look at things. Okay, the winner's Leaf. The reality, though, is that the winner should be, man, just because they showed it. The thing is, like, I would argue Dimitri's been pillaging and destroying and killing, like, unequivocally for a long time, but because, quote-unquote, it's not shown on screen, it doesn't count. I don't know, man.
To be fair, a pretty evil empire, but still. That all said, I want to thank you for watching this entire video. I was definitely surprised by some of these results. A lot of these controversial characters had way fewer war crimes than I would have expected. Now, I'm not 100%.
This is one of the worst edited videos I watched in a long time, though. Again, you guys can tell him I'm shit-talking him or something. It's... I don't understand all these black screens. And he did, like, 1 frame of Edelgard to talk about controversy.
Certain in the accuracy of all my assessments. I will leave the spreadsheet I used in the description below, but if I missed anything, please feel free to comment. After going over all the
Should I even watch this? Is this better video? Oh my god, no more black screens. I can't believe this guy even thought it was a good idea to run black screens. You guys want to watch this video? I feel like the first video, the weaknesses were, it was an info dump, didn't show enough, and it was way too dry, and it took things too literally. The Geneva Convention was not made for a magical world, alright? He made some judgment calls, but he should have made even more. For example, he made a judgment call to count Manicheets as you know, child soldiers. I disagree with that, because they're not human, and they're older than the limit, and they're weapons of mass destruction, so you should absolutely be recruiting them. But at least he made a judgment call there, and then he stopped making judgment calls for the rest of it, which is weird. Or for predominantly didn't not, so, okay. This one is newer. 3 months ago. Okay. Versus 4 months ago. Yeah, he didn't set up the standard right at the start. The video had a lot of weaknesses. I'm surprised people were so hyped about the video because it was kind of lacking. Alright, sure, let's give this another try.
After going over all the Fire Emblem protagonists' war crimes in my last video, the next logical step was to cover the antagonists. Before we start on that though, I just wanted to go over a couple of things that were brought up a lot in the comments section. The first thing that people brought up a lot was my categorization of compelling people to fight against their...
Yes, it is such a stretch. It is such a stretch. It never, for some instances, it felt like people were not trying whatsoever. You want to know what actually happens if you're forced to fight against your own country? You surrender at first opportunity. Right? That definitely doesn't happen in the game. They clearly look compelled to fight against you, to the point where they keep fighting against you. So it's a stretch. I'm glad people point that out.
Home country. Now, I'll just flat out admit that I was wrong here. I didn't realize that compel had such a strong connotation. That said, I still think it does apply to a fair few of those characters. Cases like Lorenz, for example, don't really have much of a choice in the matter. It's either join or die. There were still plenty in this section that I got wrong, and the comments made sure to correct me on that.
Okay, I'm glad.
So if you want a full list, go just scroll through the comments on that video. One thing that I just flat out forgot about was Roy in the final tally alongside Revelation Corrin. They both got 13 alongside Erica, Ephraim, and Robin. Finally, there were a number of people who were under the impression that the Geneva Conventions don't exist in the Fire Emblem universe, and I can't fault them for misunderstanding. After all, Navala explicitly states so in Chapter 6 of Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones. However, many people actually have overlooked the fact that if you go into FE8's guide, you can clearly find the Geneva Conventions outlined.
What? What?
This, of course, I wouldn't put blame on anyone for. I didn't read the tutorials when I first started playing Fire Emblem either. In fact, my first experience with Fire Emblem was
That doesn't make any sense. That means the Geneva Conventions is in the game and we are openly committing war crimes. Like, we didn't even bother reading it. It's in the... Why would it even be in the game? Because we're forced to commit war crimes then. Is this real? Can someone boot up their GBA games and check for the Geneva Convention? That makes no sense. It's like, why would you put that in the game and then make the players commit war crimes?
playing Fire Emblem 4 in Japanese on my official Nintendo PC and getting everyone but Sigurd killed. Anyway, those were the biggest things I wanted to get out of the way. There's still plenty of amazing information in the comments section, so I totally recommend checking it out. I also just want to thank everyone so much who watched that video and is watching this video and liked and subscribed to my channel. I was not expecting such a massively positive reception to the video, and it blew up my channel way more than I was expecting it to. My subscriber count has already quadrupled since I posted it, which is crazy. That all out of the way, we can finally move on to the subject of
Why didn't he just do this in the last video? Just put up a random image from a Fire Emblem game and just talk over it. I still don't understand why he ever thought black screen made sense.
today's video. Compared to the protagonist's one, this video will be laid out a little bit differently. Due to the numerous enemy factions, I've decided for most games to limit the representatives on this list to one faction. If I didn't, there would just be too much to go over on this list. The Three Houses Lords and Rhea, of course, are an exception to this, as I will be counting each of them. Finally, as one comment suggested, I'll be going through this video faction by faction rather than crime by crime. One thing that I unfortunately had to do for this list was change how things were counted a bit. Unlike the protagonists, whose whole journeys we see lay out before us, the enemies are a lot less documented. We see parts of their greater actions, but our forces as the player are often fighting against a fraction of what's out there. It would be impossible, for example, to calculate the number of children sacrificed to Loptier because 99% of that happens off-screen. Due to all
Yeah, this video is much more difficult. And given how dry it was last time, it might end up very lackluster. We'll see.
that, I will be going through the Geneva checklist, giving a point to each antagonist for each war crime they have committed at least once. I won't be taking into account multiples. That lengthy intro out of
I would like to point out, like, even if Geneva Convention's in a video game, they clearly are not following it. No one is following it. Nobody makes mention of it. It's medieval fantasy war, which is to say there are barely any rules. So, again, this is just for fun, so no one should take it seriously, but it's very clear no one cares about Geneva Conventions.
Out of the way, we can now begin.
In a video game.
To my surprise, Claude actually never committed any war crimes as an enemy. To be fair, he
didn't? I swear Claude, at minimum, I remember a scene where Claude didn't he disguise themselves as enemy troops? Again, that's a very soft war crime, but I can think at least one is what I'm trying to say.
really isn't present that much in the non-verdant wind routes due to his goals outside of Fodlan. This was a very lucky break for him, as I'm sure if he had more than 10 minutes of screen time in the other routes, he would be at the top of this list. While on Three Houses, there was something I did want to mention real quick, which is the nature of the hero relics. While one could make the case that these are homemade weapons, I won't be counting them as they were crafted very long ago and are widely...
Didn't we argue for the child soldiers thing? By the time you fight Claude, does he not... I don't know. Isn't there any number of things? It feels like it's inevitable to be caught on the child soldier thing because, you know, doesn't he have one of the youngest students in his house?
recognized as legitimate weaponry. Dimitri is another case that I was surprised to see so low. After all, he has that famous kill every last one of them line in every route. Of course, that means his first war crime is declaring no quarter will be given. His next crime comes in his escape from Ferdiad, where he killed some people and stole some stuff. His final war crime comes in Crimson Flower, where he makes use of demonic beasts. Now, I am aware that the
That's a judgment call, and that's a fair one.
use of demonic beasts, necromancy, and mind control aren't outlined in the Geneva Conventions, even though they really should be.
This is what he should have done in the first video. There's a lot of things I think should have been counted, but he took it too literally from the Geneva Convention.
I, however, decided that they should be anyway. I shall dub this new war crime the use of the dark arts.
Fair.
Next up, we have Sombron, the main
Wait, so what is the count there? 3? That doesn't make sense. He mentions it, but he doesn't... I guess you can't really count it.
Antagonist of the most recent Fire Emblem game. The first war crime I wanted to discuss was attacking unarmed medical personnel. Now, this is a weird one to cover in consideration of the
I'm pretty sure they're mostly armed, aren't they?
enemy, so I'm gonna go and explain it a little bit. Since the actions of the enemy units are largely dictated by the player's action, it's very difficult to actually calculate this for most enemies. For most games, I've just decided to check off this box if the antagonist's forces encountered you before you would reasonably be able to promote your healers and arm them. For 3 houses as we just discussed,
that's
I won't
fair.
be counting it as by part 2 you should have all your healers equipped with at least some weapon. That all out of the way, we can move on to Sombron's next war crime, which is the appropriation of property. This guy really likes stealing jewelry. Just like his child, Sombron employs the use of daggers, which are poisonous weapons. Finally, he is engaged in the dark arts, having created many zombies.
He keeps doing single frames of something to try and... Man, it's kind of late.
Moving on to Hoshido, they do actually have a fair few war crimes. First, of course, just like Corrin, Hayato is a soldier of the Wind Tribe, and a child soldier. In addition to this, Hoshido took Azura hostage in an attempt to get back Corrin, and when that failed, they kept her hostage. Of course, Hoshido also gets the generic enemy AI attacking healers, which is a war crime. Their final war crime comes in their use of status saves, and I just want to shout out that damn hexing rod and how annoying it is. Our next war criminal is Gangrel from Awakening. Like Hoshido, he also took a hostage in Emerin, though his attempt was much more effective. For his other 2 war crimes, they come in the use of his dark arts, particularly necromancy, as well as his declaration of no quarter. This is the first of a few antagonists where I've grouped multiple parties into one faction. In this case, we have Alvis and Manfroy due to their alliance. Their total war crimes in Gen 1 will be added together, and the total's actually a lot lower than I would have expected.
What?
Alvis's first war crime comes in his use of status saves at Fenora Castle. Manfroy employs the dark arts, brainwashing Deirdre. Finally, their last 2 war crimes come in the Battle of Belhalla, where Alvis commits both perfidy by pretending to be a neutral nation, as well as declaring no quarter will be given with his attack on Sigurd's army. At the very least, he doesn't have to worry about attacking unarmed medics, since all your characters will be promoted by this time. Now, Ray...
He really should be, like, ranking it, because again, IMO, deploying child soldiers in the Fire Emblem universe is a very low war crime, because almost everyone does it, and the average age of a soldier would just be way lower in medieval times, medieval fantasy especially. So he should be like giving a grade to the war crimes, because if you just list it as a total number, it doesn't tell the whole picture.
His placement on this list might be a little bit controversial, but I decided not to count a bunch of her war crimes from way before the events of the game. I will be counting the blood experiments since they're pretty recent and still ongoing, and also pretty relevant to the Silver Snow route with the White Beasts. In addition to this, Rhea executes members of the Western Church without a trial. Then her final 2 war crimes come in the final chapter of Crimson Flower, during which she sets fire to Ferdiad. This is both the destruction of property as well as using a plan of attack knowing it will cause incidental life loss or damage to the environment. I'm sure she'd have racked up a lot more war crimes if Crimson Flower was a bit longer like the other routes, but since that's not the case, she remains at 4. Zephiel and Burn, like many other
Yeah, I really don't like how he just counts as a number, come on.
antagonists, have one big action that checks off most of their war crimes. For him, it's his invasion of Sakai. During that attack, a number of civilians were killed, and in addition to that, no quarter was given. His next war crime comes in the generic GBA Fire Emblem AI attacking unarmed medics. His forces also employ status saves. Finally, as one comment pointed out to me, in FE 6 and 7, dark magic actually destroys the soul of its target, and if that doesn't count as a legal weapon, I don't know what does. Garneth and Medius in Book 1 have a solid tally going for them. Garneth employs the dark arts, using it to brainwash Tiki and compel her into service for a solid 2 for 1. He's also the commander-in-chief of Dolor, under which Dejanira holds Horus's people hostage, as well as compelling him into service. After all that, their final war crime comes in when either Medius himself or one of their minions captures and tortures Camus. Tied with his past self, this time including hardened into schemes, Garneth once again uses mind control, this time on 4 unarmed clerics to sacrifice them to Medius. Honestly though, most of Harden's war crimes could have been avoided if Lang wasn't part of the Arcanaean army. That man is responsible for a number of heinous acts, including attacking civilians, destroying and pillaging property, as well as capturing and enslaving women, which I won't go into any further.
I'm pretty sure if there was another commander, it would still do the same thing. It's pretty standard medieval wars.
Moving on from FE3, we now go into Shadows of Valencia with Duma and Rudolph. We have our next case here.
Can you attribute war crimes to a god? I don't think the Geneva Convention talks about gods. I think if you're a deity, it's out of your reach. You can't put silly human rules on them.
Year of using child soldiers, as Delphia is not only 14, but was also kidnapped and turned into a witch. While my research didn't yield anything on sacrificing people's souls to degenerated dragons, I opted to count witches as the use of the dark arts.
That's actually pretty good B-roll.
Also worth noting that her village was attacked in her capture, so she alone scores the Regalians 3 war crimes. In addition to this, they use poisoned weapons. Finally, in Act 3, Almanselka thwart their attempt to flood Sofia with the sluice gates, a plan that would have caused massive incidental life loss and environmental damage. Moving on, we reach the war criminal everyone's been waiting for, Edelgard. In addition to herself, I've decided to combine her with those who slither in the dark due to their alliance.
Bro, that's such a stretch. Alright, you just grouped them up together, sure. I mean, he that looks like an agenda to me, but alright. I don't think that's right. I think you should just count it as Edelgard. What the hell are you doing?
During part 1, those who slither in the dark capture Flame to perform blood experiments, and since it's optimal to wait until the end of the month to save her, they definitely got away with something. Even if you don't want to count that,
I thought you were only counting what happens on screen. I thought that was his rule.
she's still guilty of attacking civilians as she hired Kostas to kill some of the students from the Officers' Academy. On top of that, those who slither in the dark caused massive destruction to Ramir village during Act 1, and while you could argue that she's not responsible as she explicitly states that she didn't agree with the action, the fact still stands that she continues to work with them for years.
Yes, that's how you should look at it. Remember last video, he counted Perry as not committing not attributing war crimes to her commander, which is not reasonable. But now okay.
Another war crime by those who slither in the dark was the use of nuclear weapons. They're launched at Fort Mercius, having a massive effect on the surrounding environment. And not only that, but they're another type of weapon that was outlawed by the Geneva Convention. For more attacks related to Edelgard specifically, she sets fire to a structure in Gronder Field, and makes no attempt to put out the fire after the chapter ends. For her final war crime...
What? You're gonna count, she sets fire and she doesn't try to stop the fire. That's, alright, okay.
She employs the use
Who would try to stop it?
of demonic beasts, which need no explanation.
Okay.
Due to a lot of duplicates between her and those who slither in the dark, she ends up with a solid total of 5. Moving back to the GBA era, we have
Man, this is lame.
Nurgle from Fire Emblem 7. Did you know Fire Emblem 7
Only 5?
is the first Fire Emblem game released in the West, known just as Fire Emblem. In our first Effie game here, we see Nurgle and the Black Fang commit a number of war crimes. Of course, Nino is a member of the group, meaning they are using child soldiers. Additionally, the group attacks Zephiel in the infamous Battle Before Dawn, who is a civilian. Just like in FE6, dark magic in this universe destroys the souls, so I'll be counting that. He didn't really need to count that anyway, since Nurgle's already using people's souls and quintessence and stuff to make morphs. That I just decided to count as dark arts and leave the dark magic as illegal weapons. Moving on, we go to the Loptir Empire in Gen 2 of FE4. While the Empire's crimes are widespread and numerous, due to how I had to format this list, they do place a bit lower than I would have expected. Since both FE4 and FE5 feature them, they will appear on this list twice, and I will be counting those instances separately, but for now we're just going to focus on FE4. The thing that I'm sure jumps to mind first when talking
He produced this video way better than the last one.
about Loptir is the child hunts.
In just
These,
1
of course,
month?
count as attacks on the civilian population, but not only that, the children who aren't sacrificed to Loptir are then converted into dark priests who we fight throughout the game. Therefore, this counts as compelling prisoners of war into service as well.
How do you count it the other way around, right? We killed those priests, don't we?
Those dark priests, of course, are all equipped with a variety of status staves. Thracia, a state under the Empire's rule, also captures Hannibal's son and holds him hostage. Finally, Loptir employs the dark arts, reanimating the corpses of the 12 Crusaders as the 12 Dreadlords, bringing the total for FE4 to 6 war crimes. Ashnard is unsurprisingly pretty high on this list. Of course, he has the generic AI attacking unarmed medics. A house in Chapter 11 also confirms that Dane has been attacking civilians of Crimea. Additionally, in Chapter 10, you encounter a prison and set free a number of prisoners who were set to be executed without a trial. His 4th war crime comes in his use of poisoned weapons. Izuka presents Dane's use of the dark arts, using concoctions to create feral lagoos. That in itself is bad enough, but Ashnard attacks Rajayon's personal dignity, using him as a mount.
Outrage of dignity. It's not the same thing. It's a giant effing flying dragon, dude. That's not the same thing. If I parade an enemy soldier naked out on the streets, that's an outrage of dignity. I understand that. That makes sense. If I'm riding a giant dragon that can kill and destroy things because it's a weapon of destruction, a mass destruction, I don't think that's a war crime. But sure, he probably doesn't want to do it, and we've completely messed up his minds and whatnot, but I thought he counted that as the use of dark arts. I don't know. I don't think that is a outreach of the dignity for a dragon to go around destroying things, you know?
Fates' writing is comedically bad, just like Nor. They start off
By the way, I'm surprised he doesn't count. Didn't Dane, like, surprise attack a bunch of nations? I don't know, because when it comes to lords and people who can start attacks and whatnot, there are conventions to war, right? You can't just like, hey, I'm gonna mass this giant army and run into you for no reason whatsoever outside. I just want to conquer. There's the idea of like Casabella. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but in other words, like a just cause for war. He definitely doesn't have any of them.
Pharaoh Laguz. That in itself is bad enough, but Ashnard attacks Rajayon's personal dignity, using him as a mount. Fates' writing is comedically bad, just like Nor. They start off strong, deploying Elise, who is a child soldier. On top of that, Nor compels the Ice Tribe into military service, forcing them to...
I'm not sure about that one. A lot of kings deploy their sons, and, well, daughters don't really count, but, like, they do, because they want them to get experience. I'm not really sure that's a war crime. It's more like an educational purpose. They're usually well supported by, like, royal guards and whatnot, so there's nothing ever would happen to the kid. But that way the kid gets to see combat. But it's pretty normal. Like, if you look into, like, great rulers, like, crap, I forget his name. But, like, I forgot who it was who prayed that his son can earn his spurs and get all the glory. And he didn't want to support his son whatsoever in the battle because he wanted that boy to learn how war works. But, like, he's clearly underage and whatnot. It's just normal for kings to use their kids or deploy their kids. Most of the time, they're just meant to actually just learn about war.
To fight Corrin or be killed. Of course, this being Nor, there's no shortage of cartoonishly evil acts, including multiple declarations of no quarter, attacking and killing civilians, attacking combatants who have laid down arms, and killing prisoners of war without a trial. For Nor's final war crime, they have the Faceless. Yeah, that brings them to a total of 8 war crimes. Okay. Now, the Sacred Stones was not a game I was expecting to have this high on the list. While they do employ necromancy and status saves, FE8 feels pretty chill compared to most Fire Emblem games, all things considered. I could not have been more wrong, though.
I don't view Laguz or dragons, I don't view non-humans as part of the Geneva Convention. That just doesn't make any sense. Again, what they can do is not the same thing as what a human can do, especially in the context of these games.
Amelia starts off strong as a child soldier, and of course we have the GBA AI, which will attack medics. Novala also takes hostages in order to get Erica to surrender, and even if he doesn't know about the Geneva Convention, ignorance is no excuse for war crimes. So that brings us to 5. Why is Grotto so high on this list? Well, the Phantom Ship is a massive violation of the Geneva Convention. It's basically an uncontrollable death machine they set loose in the waters surrounding their country. The ship regularly attacks civilian ships, sinking them, which is already a 2-in-1, and on top of that, Grotto deployed the ship knowing it would cause incidental loss of life. That means that the Phantom Ship alone has the same number of war crimes as Dimitri and Claude combined.
If you can make that connection, I'm pretty sure, shouldn't there be more connections from other characters? Like some characters, like say Ashnard, he has his generals, and his generals are each obviously committing war crimes, right? I don't know. It also feels like I don't know. I feel like there could be a bit more here.
Thracia 776. Not just a fitting name for the year it takes place, but how many war crimes occur throughout its events. The Loptier Empire starts off strong here, compelling Xavier and the Leonster soldiers, as well as Connemar and the Elster soldiers into service. They hold Marita and Nana hostage, forcing Avel to come and get turned to stone. On top of that, they are still conducting the child hunts as mentioned before. The forces of Loptier also employ the use of the dark arts in their use of the Dreadlords, as well as a lot of status staves. Kemph is also guilty of attempting to execute a prisoner with war without a trial, leaving Olwyn and a number of others to die at the hands of his forces in 11X. Finally, the Empire scores their 7th and 8th war crimes in the Siege of Tara. Not only was this attack launched without regard to the incidental damage and life loss it would cause, but the invading forces actively destroyed the town in an attempt to capture Leaf. Finally, we reach the top, the pinnacle of war criminals, the Begnion Senate from FE10. For starters, they force Peleus into a blood pact, effectively compelling him into their service. Laverton under the Begnion Senate holds a number of people hostage. Misaia's assassination alone counts as killing of civilians as well. Jared's another big war criminal under the Senate, leading an attack on Dane Keep Castletown. On top of all this, the occupying forces attempt to execute a number of prisoners of war without a trial in Chapter 8, for example. Before the game begins even, the Senate was responsible for the Serenus massacre, in which the Serenus forest was burned down. Finally, the Senate was working with Izuka, who we all remember was the war criminal responsible for the creation of Pharaoh Laguz. With all that, they total to 8 war crimes, bringing us to the end of our list. Just like in part 1, I'm sure I've missed a couple of things. It would have been impossible for me to find everything in my research of the series. As always, feel free to point out things and correct me in the comments section below. That said, I really do appreciate you all.
It's a much better video than the last one, I'll give him that. But I feel like he's still lacking the idea of, it's your video, you can make a judgment call here. I don't think just listing it, like, what if you committed only one war crime, which is attacking civilians, but you destroyed an entire nation? Well, technically that wouldn't be just attacking civilians, but you know what I'm trying to say. Right? You should be able to assign a value to it. Make a judgment call there. Because I feel like just counting the variety of war crimes is a silly thing to do, because I don't think it's the same thing, right? I feel like he's so close to getting something really, really good here. He did improve on the video presentation, because it was no longer black screens everywhere and very basic. I mean, he just showed pictures and that was it. Like, this is much better video, but it's lacking a bit of imagination. Most people, like, even if people will disagree with it, sure. At least you get the point across you get the point across and you get your opinion across. This is something you cannot just present because this isn't factually based on the Geneva Convention. So I'm glad he's, like, at least identifying the use of dark art as something that should be, you know, listed, even though it's not part of the Geneva Convention. But he should be assigning a rank to it or a number to it or something. But basically, this was counted on just by frequency.
Pharaoh Laguz.
Or variety of war crimes committed. So, yeah, I feel like it's so close to being a really good video. It's just lacking.
With all that, they total to 8 war crimes, bringing us to the end of our list.
Also, Walhart committed war crimes himself as well. Yeah, I think it's missing things. It's just missing. It's right? Like, we can identify the difference between 1 hostage and 100 hostages, right? So just putting it as hostages. Man, I don't know. I don't know about this. I feel like he went out of his way on some of them to be a stretch. Like the Dimitri one, for example. The argument therefore would be Dimitri has committed...
Aware that the use of demonic beasts, necromancy, and mind control aren't outlined in the Geneva Conventions, even though they really should be. I, however, decided that they should be anyway. I shall dub this new war crime the use of the dark art.
Technically, if he ranks it, he would just say Dimitri committed 3 war crimes. But I think we all know that's a very, very major stretch. I am pretty sure many people died at the hands of Dimitri. This guy's traumatized because of how many people he killed, no? So, this makes it look like he committed 3 war crimes, but that's not true. Even if you want to argue, like, say, Edelgards or whatnot, it's very different to do it yourself. I don't know, man.
Massive effect on the surrounding environment.
I don't know. Some of these were definite stretches, I would say. And to be clear, I think Edelgard committed more than 5 war crimes. So,
for her final war crime, she employs the use of demonic beasts, which need no explanation. Due to a lot of duplicates between her and those who slither in the dark, she ends up with a solid total of 5. Moving back to the GBA era,
he really needs to assign a value to it. Alright, quick wash and break. We'll continue with the hero reviews. I think... Man... I thought this was going to be a lot more intricate than that. Alright, anyways, let's go back. Okay. One of the Waking Antagonists, and he wasn't even the major one? Yeah, I know. I had a lot of issues with the video itself. It was just better than the last video. Again, I brought up that same thing, Casey. I said, for example, Ashnar has a lot of generals, and each of them are obviously committing their own war crimes, right? But again, if you do not try to assign a value to it, even if the value is wrong, it's better than to just count the variety of war crimes and say this is the most amount of war crimes committed, because you know there's a difference between slaughtering 1 civilian and 1,000 civilians, for example, right? You would get hit with the same charge multiple times. Even if you cannot put it together, you can make a judgment call and say this character probably committed more on this factor than others. But yeah, it didn't go far enough. I think you have to separate Walhart and Grima, considering they were factions who were against each other in addition to your army. Well, didn't he put Edelgard together with the Slithering Shadows thing, so... Alright, we have 4 hero views here, and I'll be doing half of these, so look for that. But yeah, those were the videos. Man, I come out of it very disappointed. It just lacked a bit of imagination. You did 1 faction per game, but I think counting Plegia's Gangrel plus Valdar would have made more sense. There's a lot of things you could have done. But yeah, I think we'd be talking about way too much. Anyways, be right back. Let's start this. Alright, let's see. Since all the facts are in the spreadsheets, you could take your own twist on things and put a number on crimes to get more of the picture you desire. I could, but I'm not interested in making Fire Emblem videos like that. The problem with making a video like that is... Alright. He made his own attempt on it. Immediately, if you make a video on it and you use mostly someone else's work, it's not worth the trouble. It's genuinely just not worth the trouble. But yeah, I could. I really could. The thing is, if you do it, you have to gamify it, which is to say, you assign values to things, which people will agree or disagree with. It'll have criticism nonetheless. The problem writing this is you would have to make so much speculation. The problem, I think, is people would already call me biased in certain situations, especially because people know I have a preference towards Edelgard, for example. And I don't for Dimitri. It's also that I don't even fundamentally believe in the Geneva Convention as a person who's a history buff. A video like this really takes the right person to make it. And you can say I'm just like, I don't know, backing out of it. But I really believe that. It takes the right person to make it. I don't think I would be the right person to make it. I don't believe in the conventions to begin with. Especially in a historical context, and especially in a fantasy context. And even if I did, it would have to be very much expanded on. I'm thinking about it. For example, the dark arts thing, you can break that down into so many different portions, and it should be counted by itself. Well, you made me think about it at least. It's a lot of work. I don't think it's worth it. Say we went through it on stream as a little sidetrack. It would be fun. It really would be. I don't know. If you guys are interested in it, let me know. I kind of like that idea because it is interesting. But you do know how people take this stuff, right? They'll just take it as I'm criticizing their video. I guess I am, but not in the way of saying like this was shit or something. More like thinking like this is how you could have gone about it to make things better. So it's more about feedback, but people don't see feedback as this. They see it all as criticism and that you're attacking someone else. I don't know. I remember I did a reaction to PM1's tier list, and I was just arguing because honestly, that was way back when, and it was so much not worth the trouble that it was just like people would not understand anything. They don't even understand how to read a tier list. But yeah, you would have to immediately set out the criteria, and people have to remember the criteria, but they won't remember the criteria. So if you were the first one to do a video on it and make it this way, it's a lot easier to agree with because there's nothing else. But if you do it after someone, it's a direct comparison, and that just gets a lot of trouble unnecessarily. You have to categorize all offenses like dark magic isn't necessarily evil, it's how it was used. I like that, and I agree with that. I don't like just grouping it together because it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, I fundamentally disagree with it because I felt like it needed to go further. Yeah, the videos weren't, the videos just seemed disappointing and the info taken too literal from context. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad per se. It was just too literal. Alright, since all the facts are... Wait, I read that. Edelgard is a complicated case considering the control to... Yeah, also, if you argue she's under the control and influence of something else, that would alleviate a lot of it itself. But again, it feels like he didn't necessarily have a really good grasp on what constitutes a war crime and what isn't, and the spirit of a war crime. And that sounds weird to people, but like, that's how the law works. The law doesn't work literally, it works on the spirit of the law. So even if something doesn't directly get mentioned in the law, the spirit of the law covers it. And, you know, for the Geneva Convention, it's the same thing, which is weird because he kind of messed that up on a couple of things. The Perry thing especially gets to me because even if you aren't commanded to do something, it's so attributed to the commander. All right, whatever. We could go on about this for quite a while, but it wouldn't really lead to anything. War is expensive? Yeah, I mean... IMO, the Geneva Convention's unreasonable in the context of a war fantasy, right? In this current day and age, for example, if wouldn't a first world country's army invading Lightning, thank you so much.
Just use children as soldiers to cut down costs on war.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Okay, so the child soldiers thing, I would struggle to even count as a war crime to begin with, because the average age of a soldier back then would be much younger. So I wouldn't even count it to begin with. And again, for example, he argued Garen put Elise in battle. Sure, but that's normal for monarchs to do. Their children at a very young age get put into battle so they can experience it and develop themselves. It's, you know, normal back then to do things like that. Also, going back to the first thing I was talking about, a modern nation's army, for example, if the US Army was in, like, say, okay, this is like a World War III scenario, but for example, if they attacked a Russian city, they wouldn't go pillage the Russian city. Why? First of all, that would make so little sense to do. It's a war crime to begin with, but they have the logistics and the ability to transport the materials and the funds and whatnot to the soldiers so that they wouldn't need to do such a thing. But in a medieval context, there isn't the logistics. You lived off the land. So once you break into a town, the option is, hi, I either pillage this town and take their money, take their food, or we starve and my soldiers go unpaid and they rebel and they break off. So it's not really a choice anymore. You see what I mean? So it's hard. It would be very hard to make a video about this because I wouldn't even believe in it in the first place. It's just normal back then to do these things. Anyways. Alright, let's get to this. Alright, let's do the 2 heroes here and then let's go through the list. But yeah, it's a jumble of thoughts, I guess, because I just went over all the things that was on my mind throughout all that. But if you make a video about something, you should fundamentally believe in it, or at least believe it enough to talk about it. The Geneva Convention was what? After World War I? During World War I? Before World War I? Let me see. Let me double check on that. Because I remember it. Geneva Conventions. No, Second World War. Okay, so that makes more sense. 1939 to 1945. 1949, but it updates 2 treaties from 1929, so it's after World War I. And this is to address the original, which is the Hague Convention of 1899 and 1907. Okay. That puts it a lot more in perspective. So, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to apply something modern to the older ages, because then you could just argue, like, for example, the first armies to fight themselves, say like Roman legions and whatnot, were there what, like half of his child soldiers, for example? Like, it just wouldn't make sense just to go about it that way. The first Geneva Convention was 1864, and it was about the wounded armies in the field. So the Geneva Convention we know as of today was 1949. That's the one we know. But it's been in many different forms since the 1800s. But yeah, they didn't even figure this out. World leaders didn't figure this out until after World War II. Which is significant because, you know, the World Wars were the most massive human conflicts in the history of humanity. But yeah. It's always, these things always show up after the conflicts, not before. Which is why a lot of people can get away with what they did and never be accounted for it. Anyways, it was interesting to look into it though. Right, right. Child soldiers are a stretch, but I would also argue pillaging is a stretch. And you guys are gonna disagree on that because you'll be like, "What are you talking about? That's definitely a war crime." But again, as I'm trying to point across, they don't have logistics like we do in this current day and age. If you're in a foreign land as an army, you live off the land. So the choice becomes you either pillage or you die. Because you got no support. They're not moving masses of material to you. So it's hard to like quantify it that way then. But yeah, that's why I fundamentally would just disagree with it in the first place, because it's not really a choice. It's just the norm. What would be Fire Emblem standards? I think if you ask me what I would count at the top of the list in terms of Fire Emblem standards, massacring civilians, that still counts. There's almost no benefits of massacring civilians. Killing prisoners, again, almost no benefits to killing prisoners. You could argue it's to save on food and whatnot, but the Fire Emblem games don't even go in logistics, so I can't even say how much that really means. Yeah, killing prisoners is definitely one. I think poison and cruel treatment or abnormal or unnecessary suffering is really iffy, because again, if you set someone on fire just through using fire magic, or set them electrify them through lightning magic, or you freeze them, now they're frozen. Like, that's all just cruelty, but that's just how they fought because they have mages, right? So it's hard to count it. Same thing with dark arts. If they like brainwash you, that's surely a war crime. I agree with that. But if it's just like, I'm using, you know, shadow magic to hurt you or whatever, like, no, that's just part of the fight. So yeah, you would have to cut it. You would have to be very specific of what you count. Genocide can count as a war crime, yeah. So I'm surprised he didn't count that, because Ashnard did genocide and he did not mention that. Walhard's own war crimes would have nothing to do with the Gremil, would include compelling Yenfei to fight for him, attempting to use Sayuri as a hostage, Cervantes blackmailed to compel soldiers to fight, as did Exelius manipulated soldiers of Chosin into attacking their own countrymen, and Walhart occupied Al Roseanne and executed Sayuri's parents without trial. He made usage of dark arts by leading an army risen into battle during his paralogue. Well, you already did the video script better than he did, Casey. He didn't present it very well. Okay, and it feels like some things weren't well researched, but yeah, you just proved it. An unethical and unsanctioned experience will count. I agree with that. But yeah, I'm just pointing across. Some things that we would count cannot be counted, should not be counted, because it would not make sense. Right? So to sum it up, for example, child soldiers pillaging. It almost never makes sense because they're unable to do it. Like during the English and French War, when King Henry, or is it King Edward, whichever king it was that went across the strait, and he's just pillaging, he's just attacking a bunch of French villages and whatnot. He's just running across France, burning down villages. Right? That's a war crime, sure, but that's how war was fought back then. He obviously had to pillage because they can't get a steady supply of resources from England to France in medieval times, right? So anyways, I just look at things differently because going through the history videos themselves, that's just what it says. Anyone who's remotely reasonable would understand that they didn't have a choice. All right, let's do this. Golem. Princess Knight Minerva, 40 plus 10, 22 flowers, all neutral stats, 53 HP, 60 attack, 46 speed, 45 defense, 27 res, Dragoon Axe, reposition, Gale Force, attack speed, clash, Wings of Mercy. Go for a trace. If you have nothing else, go for a trace. Speed Smoke 4 and attack speed catch 3. I think your argument is to use Minerva to Wings of Mercy in. She can, but she's also one of the best initiators. She's buffing for them to go in. So I guess you can go Wings of Mercy if you want, but she doesn't have to. She's not solely for a Gale Force team, which I can't even argue you're doing because you're going Dark Blessing, so I don't understand this. If you went Light Blessing or Astral Blessing, I can believe you, but she's not a defensive Wings of Mercy hero. So you're not using her in that role, in which case I wouldn't use Wings of Mercy. A Gale Force team like that is only really for E3's offense with Wom. So yeah, go Trace. Is Beast Smoke 4 good? Yes. And also, no. She needs to win her immediate fight. Speed Smoke 4 happens after the battle. She actually is not that fast. I believe she adds 14 extra attack and speed easily. So 14. With this, it should be 8 unless something else happens. 22, 22, 27. So you have 87 attack and you have 74, 73 speed. I would take Reigns over it easily, especially with Wings of Mercy. That way she can Wings of Mercy in Gale Force and her partners, her allies are now supported. But yeah, that's what I think personally. Anyways, to sum it up, I would Trace, I would go Reigns or Hold, or whatever the case, to get more attack and speed. Technically speaking, you can go Snap, but that's super expensive. Oh, you do have the Trace? Then use the Trace. If you used her in Aether Raid's offense, I believe what you were doing, but you weren't, so I didn't believe it. By the way, chat, did you like that? I think in the future, we'll include more reaction videos. So if you guys have really good Fire Emblem videos that you would like me to see on a stream, let me know. Or any videos, put it down, let me know. I don't think it was a smashing success or something, and I ended up really not liking those videos, so. The production value is what really messed with me, and I felt like he didn't do a good enough job of explaining the criterias and forming an opinion himself. So, that's what I thought. Wait, what was that? I'm out yourself? Okay. Alright, here's Elincia, Seaside Queen, 40 plus 10, 7 flowers, 46 HP, 53 attack, 52 speed, 30 defense, 38 res, White Wind Bow, Drawback, Deadeye, Flared Sparrow, Desperation, Soaring Guidance, Blade Session 3. This is a humongously expensive build, and it's amazingly good. It's just really hard to pull this off really well. White Wind Bow is amazing. For those who forgot, grants Null Up, Null Panic to unit for 1 turn. Also at start combat, you grant attack speed plus X unit during combat. X equals number of bonuses, effects active on unit, and penalties effective on foe. And then, yeah, times 2 plus 5. It's really good. It's really, really good. Flare Sparrow is obviously the best offensive skill for ranged units at this point. Desperation 4, if you can trigger it anyways, is really nice. At start combat, if unit's HP is under 99%, unit shoots combat, or number of spaces from unit's start position to end position is greater or equal to 2, unit shoots combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. Very nice. Soaring Guidance also helps out in Blade Session, so yeah. Pure offense. You're committed to the battle though. Ideally, it wouldn't be Desperation. Well, ideally you have some way of getting yourself out of the battle. But yeah, going Desperation with her bulk makes a lot of sense. Flared Sparrow doesn't give you any survivability, nor does White Wind, so. Null Fault Desperation combo with Null Panic, and then afterwards you got Soaring Guidance on the field to help out your allies. Hard to argue with that. Quick calcs, it should be at minimum 5, but I don't really know how to count this. Number of bonuses, so times 2 plus 5. So let's say it's 9, 16, 16, up to 25 extra attack for 70, 78, 25 plus 4, 29, up to 81 speed. Yeah, very nice. Amazing Elincia, actually. Yeah. Initiating her first on PP. If you do, just make sure you back her up, and I think you got something there. With Flying Guidance, I'm much more comfortable with her not having support. All right, chat, we're gonna flip a coin to see which half we do. By the way, I'm gonna accept everyone on the friends list. If you don't want to be friends, just unfriend me afterwards. It's that easy. I'm repopulating my friends list because I removed 13 friends today because they all quit. Yeah. Pure player phase, team though. Yep, that's fine. All right, chat, we're gonna flip a coin. First coin is false. We're not doing the first coin, we're doing the second coin. If heads, we do Evens, if tails, we do odds. Here we go. This is the second coin that counts. Heads. So we're doing evens, right? Yeah, heads are evens. Which means I start at 2. I'm gonna accept everyone. I'm gonna start at 2, which means just this fool. Alright. Cursed Lance, oh god, it's Valter. It's been so long since I've seen Valter. Solo 4, Wire and Flight, Panic Play. Oh yeah, BY3 is really nice on him, right? Attack speed, defense +3. That's such a good seal. These new seals are kind of nuts, chat. BY3, all just 9 extra stats. Man, these are better than Solo Seal's IMO at this point. And why do you want the defense +3? Wire and Flight, man. Wire and Flight needs visible defense to scale. Obviously, when Wire and Flight 4 is not out, right? Obviously when we have a variant of this at 4, you go for that. Solo 4 is good. I would go Clash if you can, but Clash is super expensive. You do want to take, you are going to take damage. You either go like, this doesn't have all doubles on it, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay, so you can't give up on speed. So it's up to you. Yeah, it doesn't have all doubles because it's super old at this point. I'd probably go for attack speed Clash if I were you. That way you can have enough speed to actually make good usage of this. Otherwise, the visible 3 stats are really nice for Wire and Flight. I agree with that. Panic Play is really nice because he comes with it and he has the HP for it. But at this point, because if you don't auto double or double something, you're going to lose the fight. I would say probably go for Hold or Snap or Rain. That's what I would do. And then I would go for attack speed Clash. You need attack and speed. That's the reality of it. I like Ace for Wire and Flight because Cursed Lance also backs it up. So yeah, that's what I think anyways. All right, all stats +5. 12. 12. It's unlikely to be all, but I'll calculate it's 19. So you can add a 19 extra attack, which takes you to 83, and your speed is 5. Just adding 5 for 52. Yeah, you need way more speed to make this work into current day and age. It's rough. Yeah, there's no Wire 4 yet. Fan of Roy. Is this the Azelle? Is this the Azelle guy? Shouts to Azelle guy. That's what I'm gonna know you by, Azelle guy. Pure Initiating Azelle. Again, I don't think you can afford to go for Soul. Azelle doesn't hit very hard. Alright, speed res -6. Inflicts penalty on foe speed res during combat with current bonus on each of foe's stats ×2, which is not a guaranteed. So 6, 13. I don't think you're killing 80 ×2. I would go Flare. Yeah, Casey's absolutely right. Flare provides damage, Flare provides healing. And it does change itself based on the situation, based on your own criterias, your HP. But go Flare. It makes no sense to not go Flare at this point. Soul just doesn't do anything. Also, Speed Preempt is only when foe initiates combat. Flash Barrel does not work if unit initiates combat, so this doesn't work in this combination. Same thing with Fleeting Echo. I would say pick one phase or pick both phases. If you go Speed Preempt, you're probably going Unity with Form. That's what I would do. With Attack Speed Oath. That's what I would do if you're going to go Preempt. But if you're going to go Sparrow, I'd probably pick up like Magical Null Fault. That's what I don't know. You got a lot of B slots available. But yeah, I wouldn't, it feels like you have two ideas here and they don't work together. So that's what I would hold against this build. And you also lack damage. My other worry is your speed. Your defensive speed, which is going to be really bad, which is 6 + 4, it's 10. 68 speed. You're going to have to hope for the smoke to trigger to add another 13. At which point it starts working out better, but still not great. So yeah. On initiation, you're much better off because it's 6, 13, 17, 17, 19, which takes you to 77, and then after battle, you add another 13 essentially. Yeah, there's two ideas here. They don't work together. Smoke wants you to tank the damage, but Preempt wants you to kill them before you take any damage. Flash Barrel only works on initiation, so it doesn't work with Preempt. Same thing with Fleeting Echo. And souls for healing, but you don't need healing. You need the damage. So too many different ideas that are not working well together. But yeah, at minimum, I'd switch to Flare, and I would just do a pure offense build if I were you. Here's me. Me, are you the guy who played in Smash yesterday? 40 plus 10, 15 flowers, 47 HP, 69 attack, 34 speed, 47 defense, 33 res, Destiny Bow to change fate, Deadeye, Ideal, Special Spiral, attack speed 04, Blade Session. Personally, I think Blade Session is overrated on him. If you Oath, Ideal makes a lot of sense. Spiral, Deadeye is also really good, but he doesn't have issues charging stuff in the first place. If it were me, I'd use the new Squad ACBY3 thing. That way you get 3 attack, 3 speed, and 3 defense. Blade Session can add up to 9 attack and 9 speed, and I get how important that is, but you already have auto doubles, so I don't really think you need that much extra speed. You already have a lot of speed. You just want enough speed to break Waries. How fast can you truly go though? 5, 14, 23, 32. If everything works out only at 66 speed, I don't think you should worry about it. I think that's too slow for the current meta. So if I were you, I'd be more alright to just get pure stats. But yeah, it's just for breaking Waries is how I see it. It's good though. Okay, and the last one. Zanrath. Here's Benny, 66 HP, 62 attack, 31 speed, 60 defense, 42 res, Arcane Ching, rally attack speed, armor plays fire. Oh my god. I would have... Chat? I think everyone knows who died here. You know, we know. Bob died here. Chat, this isn't worth it. God, I'm just gonna sound like a hater. I'm just gonna sound like a hater if I do this. This is not worth it. Why is it not worth it? Okay, I know my stream ghost is blocking it kind of, but here. So here's the base kit. Fire Flood boost 3, Weaving Fighter, AR Far Save. You went AD near save, that's fine, but you took the Fire Flood boost and the Weaving Fighter. Listen, you do things for your favorites, I get it. But I don't think in any universe does it make sense to go Benny over Byleth at this point. Byleth is just way too good. Arcane Ching is really good, I agree with that. But man, this is so rough. Well, okay, so here, you guys can already see some of it already, immediately. Number 1, base Byleth, 62 attack. Benny, plus 10, plus attack, 20 flowers, 62 attack. It's a match. 45 defense versus 60 defense, that's a lot, but remember, this is 20 flowers and plus 10 and floretted for defense. In effect, it's actually not that big of a difference. And then 46 res versus 42 res, has 4-point advantage. So, yes, he does have a lot of HP, but he doesn't use it for anything noteworthy. Man, I can't. It's so hard for me to even... If they're not current generation armor units, it's just so hard. I respect your commitment. It's a really good Benny. It's so hard. We've gotten to the point where a new generation hero like Byleth would just supersede and be better than a maxed out hero from an older generation. But yeah. The sad part is like Byleth would probably be a better near saver than Benny as well. Just because how she functions, or he functions. Anyways, Arcane Ching, as good as it is kind of rough. I think this is just out of love, because Vigard is really good. And I have a Vigard build and everything, but Vigard struggles in the current meta. And this would have the same issues. Hold on, chat. Arcane Ching with Weaving Fighter... You're not doubling back, are you? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this build, man. I think it breaks itself, doesn't it? Weaving makes it so you and your foe can't double, and Arcane Ching gives it all double, so it becomes a speed check. So you're speed checking on 36, which is really hard to win on. So you're really trying to just take one hit. And you're trying to have armor blaze up immediately. I don't know, man. I don't know. This one's so hard for me to talk about. I would have to like play around with it. I don't know, chat. Yeah, not unless you have the speed, but he only has 36 speed. Alright, sorry about the last one. I really don't know what to make of it. I'm thinking Weaving Fighter gets broken by Arcane Ching, and then so it doesn't work very well. And the Fire Flood boost, even though he has quite a bit of res, is not going to do enough. It's mostly for dragons. And Armor Blaze is really good, but I don't think he gets to kill in one shot. The idea, I think, is to get hit Arcane Ching one shot with Armor Blaze, but as someone who uses Vigard, I know this is difficult. Who's calling me? Alright, am I missing anyone? Alright, chat, I think that's everybody, right? Yeah, sorry, we flipped the coin. It was second hero, it was heads, so we went second heroes first. That was a 3.5 hour face stream. We don't really do them this long anymore. It's more like I already built Benny, so let's go. Yeah, but even then, it's rough. All right, chat. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a follow, subscribe, like, all those nice things that really help me out. I think I'm done with Faye for this week. I asked you guys if you wanted me to do the calendar, but almost nobody said anything, so I'm gonna presume it's fine. So I want to check out new Nikkei stuff because that's where things are really interesting. It's a new update right now. Take care, Roy fan. Just Annie being a little earlier? Okay. Yeah, the anniversary is in February, so people should remember that. Alright, yeah, I'm pretty burnt out. Gonna try and have a smaller stream tonight. Alright, let's do it.
Calendar not worth it. New resplendent toe. There might be something there, Nimsmug.
Okay. Is it really worth my time? We've been spending 3.5 hours on Faye already. Thank you, Takaloco. Update divine codes? They're already here. What are you talking about? This is really worth the time, man. Here's some info on the latest. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip ahead. Everyone's telling me about this. The New Year celebrations. I'm waiting. All right, chat. The New Year celebrations start. Sorry, chat. The New Year celebrations end, and then the 7th anniversary celebrations begin. The game came out in February of 2017. February, I forget which date. So this anniversary celebrations are a bit earlier, is what people are saying. It will begin on January 29th, and it'll start then. So that's the look of the future anniversary. So it's just starting a bit earlier. As for the rest of the calendar, man, I'm not very, I don't think much of it. So the day that 7th anniversary starts, it'll be with the Mythic Hero summoning event on the 29th. We will have new special heroes on January 18th. And that's all I see that's worth talking about. Is it the EOS update? Man. Like, this looks like a lot of stuff, but it really, most of it doesn't matter. It's February 2nd. Okay, so we're starting the celebrations before, beginning on 29th, it starts before the actual 7th year date. But it's fine if they want to do it a bit earlier. I argue it's probably better to do a bit earlier. You kind of want to get out of the way of, like, Valentine's Day, which is February 14th. So, that's the idea. This year, 7th anniversary will start earlier than before. And our next resplendent is Veronica. She, like, hardly looks different, to be honest. It's like a reimagining of her, and with less black and more red. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Like, you guys are just gonna call me a hater or whatever, or tell me I don't care about favorite. I was excited about Christmas. I was excited about New Year's. Almost nothing happened on those 2 days. You guys know that, right? Almost nothing happened on those 2 days. What did we get for Christmas and New Year? So if you want me to be, like, excited for anniversary, it's really hard because they're just so greedy, man. They're just so greedy. I will probably just throw us some tickets or something, and that's it. I don't have any high expectations for it. We didn't get any summoning tickets for Christmas, and for New Year's, they gave us tickets for old banners.
Don't forget excited for Book 8. And we got a chic new mode named Sad.
And yeah, they started this Book 8 off by giving us a really bad mode, and the story thus far for Book 8 is just whatever, man. Look, you can just call me a hater if you want. If you don't care about anything I just said, just call me a hater. That's fine. But I'm just trying to tell you, it's hard for me to get excited about the anniversary celebration because they have such a poor track record right now. I genuinely was hoping Christmas and New Year's would be pretty special, but it wasn't. It was very forgettable. That's why checking out the calendar just doesn't mean anything to me. I don't think they care. Yeah, they just get worse and worse. Whereas every other games are getting better and better. It's not how it works. They should have announced, yeah, increase in inheritance slots by now, but they haven't. I don't think they ever will. Alright, let's do the Nikkei stuff already. I wanted to have a shorter stream tonight, chat. Need Fae players to riot like they did for their anniversary? I don't think we even have a pulse as a community anymore. I think we just accepted mediocrity and we're just fine with it. What did Faye do this time? Hey, Felly. They're doing the anniversary earlier. The anniversary is February 2nd. And they're going to do 7th anniversary celebrations on January 29th. So before the actual anniversary. It now coincides with the date of... Sorry, January 29th is when the 7th anniversary celebration begins. The actual anniversary is on February 2nd. It coincides with the Mythic Hero summoning event. However, I have zero excitement for it, unfortunately, because, as we know, December, for Christmas, they did nothing. For New Year's, they did almost nothing. And I just can't. How is it possible for me to get excited about it? So yeah, that's what I think. So 7th anniversary is coming up, and I feel nothing. I genuinely feel nothing. So, anyways, is this? How do you expect me to be excited when you just botched Christmas and New Year's? So, yeah, it's coming up earlier, but I don't make a big deal out of it because I have no expectations. The numbers the Christmas banner did, Copium. I don't think the Christmas banner did particularly well. It did better than the average banner, but that's such a low mark because things have just been bad in general. All right, chat. That's it. I'm just clocking out of work. Oh, Chocobo, you should check out the VOD. We went over the war crime videos. They weren't too good. Anyways, chat, I'm switching over to Nikkei now. It's been a pleasure as usual, but I think going forward, I'm probably do like 2 face streams a week, maybe 3 even, but it's not gonna be too many unless there's a trailer or something. I'm guaranteed to do trailer and data mine. But yeah, outside of those, man, I really think I really want to do more. I really do, but it's just not making sense. Like Nikkei just does better, and the game itself doesn't even show me any respect. I'm not demanding respect, by the way, from the game. But like, they don't care about us. Is how it feels. So, I don't know, man. If I'm gonna be a full-time content creator, it has to make sense. And Fire Emblem Heroes continuously just... It's not making any sense, man. I'm gonna try and take it easy tonight so I can stream, make a video tomorrow. Because I do think the early anniversary is meaningful and should be talked about. I just don't know how much it matters. All right. Thank you guys for showing off your heroes. I will make that a video. I will timestamp it in the VOD. So if you want to ever check up on it, it's right there. With that said, I'm switching over to Nikkei, and I'll see you guys next time. If you haven't already, please drop a like, subscribe, follow. All those things really help. And you guys know we need that help. But outside that, I'm switching over to Nikkei. If you're on YouTube, the stream will cut, and then you can go click my channel to see the next stream, which will be on Nikkei. Okay, let's start.